Hello, boys. The monitorings are way too big on this right now. I can hit, like, literally everything. Can you stop trying to set the studio booth on fire, please? Je suis anglais. Nous jouons le PLO High Roller. Le PLO High Roller. Test, 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 test. Well, I feel a bit. Where's my own mic? Turn me right down. Test, test. Hello, all good? Excellent. Are we on 15-minute delay still? Okay, perfect. Feds ain't dumb, they know walk one, but the young G's too naive. One, two, you're live on mine.
Can you hear me?
Yep, you are fine.
Beautiful.
Yeah, boss, what's up?
Yeah, they're going to count us in. So we're on 15-minute delay, right? So we start very soon. Okay.
Is that what they're doing? No.
Oh yeah, I've seen him before.
He stacked me the other day.
Good player.
Quite tight. Did explain he doesn't really play Hold'em.
Fair. He's just Omaha grinder.
Omaha, a lot of Omaha plays. Was playing 5-10 or 5-5-10
Solid.
yesterday. We know seat 7.
We do. Andre Lon,
Andre Lon.
$600,000 earnings. Things I don't know the names of anyone else. This is what I need.
I've put the question out.
Production. When do we start? Do we have intro today? I don't know if we're live or not.
Neither do I. A lot of anticipation as everyone's just waiting.
I think they just test.
Blinds 150,000 to 300,000 will get chips as and when.
We live? Welcome everybody to the Vamos Poker Tour PLO High Roller final table. 1,500 euros put up by every single player. 56 in the end. Small overlay. But now we have reached the final table. We have 56 million chips in play. Average stack. 7 million flat. And we've got some incredible PLO action coming up for you. They are playing for 26,000 euro up top. My name is Ethan Foreman. As always, I'm joined by my co-host,
Mr. Jacob Topley.
It's time for some PLO.
It's time for some PLO.
So we have a blind v blind action with Capitan limping with the King 10. King 10, 9, 3 single suited. Does flop top pair. Quite a dynamic board. 2 6s. No flush draw coming. Maybe a back door. And in comes the diamonds. Martinez with the jack high flush draw. Not that he's going to feel too comfortable about it.
Capitan picking up the gut shot as well to go with his top pair.
This does improve the holding of his hand a little bit. Just a little bit more equity. Does make the value bet and finds the fold. And that is the first hand done. Big PLO player?
Myself, not really.
I think we will get by just fine.
Okay, so some chip counts for you then.
Capitan, the overwhelming chip leader on 15 million.
We've got Lon, 32 big blinds, 9.7 million chips. Down at the bottom,
All of them.
Iloscovy,
Half of the table. Very interesting.
Prazak, Nicolas Martinez, all short stacks with about 4.2 million chips.
This is going to make things very interesting from an ICM perspective. With 4 short stacks, all of them basically indifferent about busting, no one wants to be the first one to go.
This is really going to allow Capitan to put a lot of pressure onto his opponents.
Yes, well, it's never the short stacks. Never the short stacks that are going to have the problems in terms of ICM. It's the deeps, the middling stacks. The 32 big blinds, the 22 big blind stacks, they're going to have problems. Lon picking up Ace Jack Jack. Does have 3 diamonds. Hand blocking himself a little bit, but it is quite dynamic.
Suited ace, pretty good. Opening from the hijack.
We have just received the complete list of players. Perfect. That's absolutely brilliant. We'll bring more info as it comes. And he does find the walk. Lon picking up a 750,000 chips. 2.5 big blinds pre-flop.
I don't know if you noticed it, Ethan, but on the screen there, it flashed up as though someone had folded kings pre-flop. Now,
I feel like that was probably an error. Here is the Card Casino Bratislava socials. You can follow us on Facebook, Card Casino. You can follow us on Instagram at Card Casino Bratislava. And as always, the website is available at what, Jacob?
Cardcasino.sk.
You can follow us on all of those things. One thing that Live Omaha has that you don't really have in Hold'em, it takes a lot longer to deal the cards. So you see less hands per hour.
It does. And obviously equity runs closer with the hands you do get. So your variance in these kind of competitions does start to go up a lot.
It is very high. It's much higher than if you were grinding no limit Hold'em tournaments. There is a dedicated group in this area that only like to play Omaha. I find that very interesting.
I think you're going to find that almost everywhere. And I think when you're in Europe, there's a lot more... Europe compared to the UK is a lot more PLO friendly.
Definitely. I think they like a gamble here a lot more. But also there's definitely some very good PLO players out here.
I would 100% agree with that. As Martinez finds his suited queens, single suited queens on the button, and Prajak finds single suited kings, is going to repot it
all the way up.
As big as he can go, trying to work out what it is. He finds the call with queens.
Yeah, we are going to go in kings, king, jack 8 versus queen, 10-7. This is quite a big gap in equity.
Bit of a cooler.
Definitely.
But everything can change.
You're never not getting queens in pre at 10 big blinds, though, are you, I think?
No, not even in Omaha.
When it goes pot, repot, and it repot again, you've committed too much of your stack already.
100%.
To the flop, a 7-10-5.
Help for Martinez now.
He does have 2 pair and comes in front. Not a lot of backdoor action. A 9 for the gut shot would give Prazat a good card. 3. Quite boring. Equity's still the same.
A brick. So only at the 9 or the king. A deuce. Knocks Prajak out.
And we have lost Prajak. Martinez finding the full double.
His spanners coming in handy there.
Spanners are really coming in handy. The queens were not the important part of the pot. This is the joy of Omaha.
It certainly is. It certainly is. A lot of the time you can be bailed out by your other 2 cards, especially when you're getting it in with a big pair.
I played a lot of like smaller stake PLO tournaments in my day, and it's never the big cards that seem to bust you. It's always the sneaky hidden 2 pair or boat, in my experience.
Exactly. And so that's what makes going in with aces and 2 kind of spanners a little bit less worrisome.
Exactly. They are doing a quick chip count just to confirm. And it is correct. Prazak has been eliminated from the tournament in 8th place. And we're now down to 7.
A really vital pot for Martinez to win. He was one of our
30 big blind stacks.
4 short stacks.
They must have been very, very close. This is actually very good for Martinez.
Going from about 4 million chips, jumping up to about 8 million chips, puts him around about 2nd or 3rd in chips now.
Well, there's less pressure on him now in terms of just the structure of the blinds going round. He's no longer sat at this 13 big blind limit. He's no longer indifferent about doubling up and busting. He can try and find spots to just pick up a few more chips, and he's not worried about going away immediately.
Another thing to mention is this is pot limit Omaha. So if you want to keep a pot small, you can.
There'll be a lot of 1/3 and 2/3 bet sizes used today. And it's not just the pot.
Or less. And also a lot of, I'm going to imagine, limping in, blind versus blind, keep the pot small.
Well, this is definitely something that you should be employing in your strategy in early position, just opting for the limp.
Yep.
Position, very important, as we know, in pot limit Omaha.
Arguably more so than Hold'em.
Yeah, definitely. When there's so much going on, there's so many cards in play, you have to. Uher electing to go for the raise instead of the limping strategy.
Unsure on his holding. Leon under the gun +1.
It would be difficult for Uher to have queens this hand.
It would be quite difficult. Lon, of course, a player we've played a lot with over the past week.
Definitely. He likes sticking in the 2-5. He likes sticking in the 5-5. Capitan finding trips somehow.
We might have to have a little side game.
A side game of?
At the bar later every time we see a hand with trips in it.
Oh, yeah, we may have to. We'll keep track. That's 1 so far.
1 so far.
So, not really sure what's going on with the cards at the minute. I think players may just need to move it round.
Yeah, give those RFID readers a chance to pick up the chips.
Well, when you've got them all stacked
up
on
the
top of
cards.
each other, the signals do end up getting mixed.
100% can be a bit difficult. Yeah, that player in seat 7 we've played with a fair amount over the past week.
He is very good.
A very, very decent player, playing a lot of Hold'em, and then yesterday, having just played the PLO, was on that PLO game.
Definitely.
So, man of many talents, for sure. A man of many talents.
The grind continues for Lon. I don't think there's a day when that man's not playing some kind of card game.
So, this hand looks good, but from an under-the-gun position, it is connected, not double-suited.
And what you are blocking yourself with the 3 hearts, 7-6-3-3.
And you're really vulnerable to this shallow, just 2 higher cards coming on the board that pair the board and you miss your draws.
Exactly.
So while you might pick up some extra equity with your somewhat wrap, your quasi-wrap, your extra gut shot,
Your
maybe.
rundown. So, like Benkovic does find the 1-gapper in the small blind. He will be firing the raise.
The suited 1-gapper, the raise or the limp. We're not sure what these players are going to try and do. Does elect to raise.
Yeah, I think you definitely have to raise, especially when you've got a flush draw on top of your 1-gapper. Uher,
Double suited.
I don't expect him to fold here. He does have double suited. He can flop some interesting straight.
It's what I would call a 3-card hand. So he's got his ace, jack, and 9 all interact quite well. The 6 of diamonds is there to prop the jack of diamonds up, but it's not amazing. The 9 and the 6 interact. It's not an amazing hand. However, what an amazing flop for Uher. Flops the flush draw, the backdoor nut flush draw. Flops the open ender to the straight. And a flop for Benkovic, who flops 2 pair.
3 pair.
In fact, 3 pairs.
One thing I find it funny, and I really like about this game, is Uher currently has the nuts, but he's still only 69% chance to win this pot. Benkovic has so many different ways of finding the best hand by the river.
Sorry, yeah, my mistake there. Uher has flopped the straight, and
it does go back call.
Has the flush draw, but 3 pairs, very juicy for Benkovic.
That's 3 boat. That's 3 different ways to make a boat.
That is.
The 9 is not one of them, but he's still got these boat out.
He actually has 4 pairs now.
How many pairs does he want?
I don't think he can get any more.
It does go check, check.
And there's the queen.
Boats up on the river. It's not going to get too much value from Uher's Jack-Eye flush. He does have the option to go thin, but taking his showdown, of course, not the worst decision.
Blind versus blind, though, these wider range spots.
Definitely. And They are both very shallow.
You're blocking the boat with if you're O'Hare. You've got the 9. He does like to check back, which I think is sensible.
Definitely the way to do it. I think Jack High is
Conservative.
just too weak. You're never getting value from smaller flushes. There's not many smaller flushes left with the 9 and the 8 gone as well.
Not really, no.
Is a 7 is 7-5 of diamonds going to call you now that the board's paired? Definitely not.
Unlikely.
You'd have to hope he has some kind of 10-3 thing, and
Again, as played, unlikely.
yeah, exactly. The big blind ante still in play. The Vamos Poker Tour is electing to keep big blind antes on their final tables, and I believe heads up. It was heads up in the mystery bounty yesterday.
I'm not 100% sure because Omaha tournaments don't normally employ an ante.
I know. Generally, you don't need the ante to create action in Omaha.
I would like to just double check whether we're playing with an ante or not. We're now down to 7.
I think Lon has put it
Players.
in. Lon has put it in. So I assume we're still rolling with it.
So it says the pot there is 750,000,
Yeah, that would be...
which
that's
would in
2.5
fact be, yes, 2.5 big blinds, which is in fact a big blind ante.
Nicholas getting rid of his Ace and 9-4 rainbow. More rainbow for Capitan. I originally thought Capitan's name was Captain. I was very excited to call on a player called Captain Bogdan.
So, Janosovsky, I think I've done a very good job pronouncing
I'd
that.
go with Janosovsky.
Janosovsky has picked up queens with an ace, and that little 3
Suits it up.
suits it up. He's wishing he's playing high-low.
Suited and booted. High-low tournament. I don't believe there is one.
There isn't one, but that's a very nice high-low hand. Leon looking down at his 7s with a queen and a 4. Lets it go. Very solid player.
One thing I find interesting about the Omaha games on this side of the English Channel, they don't have love for 6 card.
There isn't any love for 6 card, and as a couple of Brits in this booth, the only thing you can play in the UK, really, is dealer's choice 4-5-6, which plays as just 6 card only.
It does play as just 6 card. I've never seen a game in the UK where it is just 4. Or I've seen in some places they have 4-5 dealer's choice where you can't pick 6 because they like to play 8-handed.
Yeah, they crop up occasionally. You have to be lucky. Normally, the way that you're going to find that is where it's a round of each.
Yes, true.
Where it's just a round of each, but it's only 4 card.
I have much love for the 4 card variant of this game.
I think there's a lot more. I don't want to say there's more skill involved. People that play 6 card will obviously feel like there's a lot of skill involved in their game. It's what they want to play. I'm sure you could say that there's not much skill left in something like Limit Omaha or Limit Hold'em, for example, but there definitely is. But 4 cards is just... There's more room for maneuver post-flop, in my opinion.
Yeah, definitely. Uher has opened his kings, 3s and 8-7, 4-3 find the fold. He has stolen the blinds. Stealing the blinds when you're in some of these stacks is really, really important.
Vital for those sub 4 million stacks.
Exactly. Well, when there's 2.5 big blinds already in the pot and you have 13 on the button.
And when equities run so close, right? If equities are running close, you don't want to be seeing a flop because it can all change very quickly post-flop.
Exactly.
So
How soon can we get it in?
How soon can we get it in, exactly? So once we generate all those folds pre-flop, your equity jumps to 100%. You've won the hand. You've picked up 2.5 big blinds because the big blind ante's in play.
That does mean that you can just be so loose in the button and so loose in the small blind. And you have to do a lot of defend. Not that you're not doing a lot of defending anyway, but you do really get to play some wide Omaha. Ace, king, king, 8 with the suited ace, king for Martinez. This is getting opened up.
Martinez is a very, very capable player. Had the pleasure of playing him in a 2-5 game the other night.
He doesn't really play a lot of Hold'em, does he? He prefers...
He said this. He said he doesn't play Hold'em very often.
He prefers more cards.
As Lon looks down at his suited queens.
Yep, queens with a single suit. I don't see Lon going anywhere. I wouldn't expect him to repot, though.
No, I think raising or repotting is going to force this pot to get very big.
Definitely. And when you're at risk of isolating yourself against just too strong a range, that's when you run into trouble.
Yeah, under the gun ranges in Omaha are very strong, even 7-handed.
And even if Lon did want to inflate the size of the pot, he's got shorter stacks. He has shorter stacks behind.
It looks like Capitan is going to come along and have a little look with his Well, it's effectively just King Jack.
Yeah, but he's getting 7-1.
Of course.
Price is too good.
The price is too good when you've got 4 cards in your hand.
Exactly.
And it's a very good flop for Capitan. Flops the second nut flush draw. Martinez still with the overpair.
This isn't too good for the other two players. It's very interesting.
No.
Lots of outs for Capitan, who's currently ahead despite having a 3 and a 2 in his hand.
Gut shot, flush draw. Who needs 4 cards when 2 will do?
Exactly. I have seen some Omaha tournaments where it does seem like the entire field is playing with just 2 of their cards.
So Lon actually picks up 2 pair on this turn, and he jumps to the favourite.
Big favourite now. The board's very dynamic though. If a heart or a 6, an 8, a jack, or maybe even a queen peels off on the river, Lon's just going to be forced to check down. I don't think any player right now wants to inflate the size of this pot.
No, it's very awkward. Maybe Capitan will. Chip leader puts a lot of pressure on these medium stacks when there's all those short stacks still around.
Exactly. Well, Capitan's in a perfect ICM spot, right?
Perfect situation.
You've got, what, 50 bigs, many people on short stacks that are going to be busting soon.
He's got outs to the nut straight and outs to the second nut flush.
He does elect to bet.
Applying maximum pressure.
He's gone for half pot, which isn't a terrible sizing when you're multi-way here. Definitely putting pressure.
And when you're Martinez here, you're hating life because it's a small size bet, but you've got Lon behind you. You've still know Capitan's range is going to be almost any 4 cards.
Mm-hmm.
And you have no draws.
Does find the fold. This is exactly what Capitan wanted to do with his bluff as well. Put these over pairs in a difficult situation. Obviously, King's making the incorrect fold, but it's tough. Tough on this board texture.
King's making the correct fold because Kings have no draw.
That is, well, yeah, that is very true.
And Lon with 2 pair laying it down. Queen's not blocking enough straights and with no outs to the flushes.
The queens don't contribute enough. And Capitan bluffs his way to even more chips.
Yeah, with
Lon
a very
not
nice
wanting to inflate the size of the pot with what might not be the best hand.
Very tough for Lon to call because any heart river he can't call. Anything that makes the board even more straighty. Even hitting a queen. No
Half
good.
the deck is bad.
Exactly. Over half the deck is bad there. And does he want to sacrifice that amount of chips just to hold on?
I wouldn't.
I wouldn't want to either. So very well played from all players there.
We are actually seeing a very high standard of play. I know it's a high roller. I know it's a 1.5k euro buy-in. But I didn't expect the standard of Omaha play here to be at the level that it is.
And it's a joy to watch. It really is. Especially as someone who doesn't play a whole bunch of Omaha. Just to see and try and dissect the thought process of all these players and work out why they're doing certain things.
It's a little problem-solving game for us as well as the players sat down.
Exactly. Pleasure to be involved. As Lon picks up Ace King Jack 3 from the cutoff.
His spanners are not very helpful, but the Ace King suited is incredibly strong. The Jack obviously providing some more straight potential, and
Nicholas,
Ace 4-4 for Nicholas.
It's going in.
He elects for the repot. It is going to have to go repot call, but not really relevant. Lon's just going to find the fold, obviously.
Yeah, Ace King Jack 3, just no good to call.
It's not something you want to commit half your stack with.
Getting the count just in case. Wasn't able to go all in.
No, 2.9. Not that it matters.
No.
With this low, he's not betting 2.9 million to fold with the 500k behind.
One would highly doubt that.
One would hope. Especially with aces and a suit in your hand.
Yeah, single suited, double paired aces.
It's interesting for Lon because he's blocking aces, kings, and jacks partially.
He is, and he just has to work out, is Nicholas going to be doing this with queens?
It's interesting that he's talking himself into something. The fact that he's not snap folding means that he is considering it.
I mean, it's tough. Do you want to flip? Is that what he's trying to work out? Is he flipping? Is he getting the right price to flip? Can he peel one off, and then if he misses the flop, I have to let it go?
The thing is with the ICM in structures like this in Omaha tournaments, you do just have to go for glory sometimes. You can't get it in good all the time when there's 4 cards.
And Lon lets it go. He knows there's better spots around. He's second, third in chips around about. Doesn't want to sacrifice that.
They exchange a few words. Lon saying, "What can I do?" Nicholas pretending like he didn't have the best hand.
I believe Lon is second in chips as it stands, so really doesn't want to sacrifice any of that.
Exactly. You don't want to get it in for half your stack when there's a lot of other players who need to do the busting first.
Exactly.
Benkovic trips again. That's two now.
That's 2 shots.
2 shots. Oh my god. Okay.
Yeah, we're doing it for a shot, I believe.
I
Trips.
thought we weren't drinking this evening. Okay.
Well,
Maybe a shot of water.
when in card room Bratislava.
Yes, when in Card Casino Bratislava.
And kings for Nicholas this hand.
Well, he's had aces, kings. It'll be queens next hand. He's
So-
found the 4 as well.
From the cutoff, pots it.
It's quite a big sizing. Capitan not going to come along with his 10s.
It's almost a pot size bet. Oh no, it might be. What is? You're a mathematician. 150 times 7.
1.05 million.
1.05 million. That is how much Nicholas has raised to. He has full potted it.
He has full potted it, and he does take it down. No one picking up rundowns, no one picking up oneers. No one picking up anything to call with. Nicholas, without seeing a flop, has almost doubled his stack. Not doubled, almost 50% increased his stack.
It's actually times 9 because it's a big blind and team play.
So it would be 1.35 million.
So he didn't full pot it.
Oh, just a smidgen under.
It's just a smidge under. For anyone at home, if you're wondering how you calculate the pot in pot limit Omaha, if the small blind is half the big blind, you can times the small blind by 7.
That's the dealer in you, isn't it?
That's the dealer in me. The first pot will be 7 times the small blind. If there's an anti-team play, it's 9 times the small blind.
See, this is why I can't play pot hot limit Omaha for a living, because...
Too much maths.
Well, no, the maths isn't the problem. It's knowing the correct maths to do.
Well, it's a different game, isn't it? You got to relearn a lot of things.
Oh, there's a lot to learn. I think there's 150,000 starting hands in pot limit Omaha.
That's
compared
about
to just
that's
1,400
Yeah, it's about 10 times more.
in Hold'em. 100 times.
Sorry,
100 times more.
Yeah, 100 times more. Not a mathematician.
When you look at the thing for the matrix for Hold'em, it's 2-dimensional. Your aces go your ace 2 across the top, ace 2 down all the way down to the bottom. Omaha's probably like 4-5 dimensional.
I've never seen a matrix for pre-flop PLO.
Neither. There are some ways you can do it that I've seen.
I imagine the way you do it is you try and break it down to have 2-dimensional matrices with ace-ace, and then your final 2 cards. And then ace-ace in your other... and then ace-king and your other 2 cards, and ace-queen and your other 2 cards. And you just cycle all the way through, so there's a lot.
There is a lot. It's just so hard to select, like, am I opening ace-ace 6-3? Am I opening jack-10 9-4? There's
Difficult.
too much to think about.
It's difficult.
There's 52 cards in that deck, and you got to pick 4 of them. That's a lot of cards. That's a lot of different
combinations.
Combos. Yes, exactly. Lon with the 10-8, 7-5 getting rid. We're counting trips. We could count straights as well. Count rundowns. If we
You
wanted.
said you didn't want to drink. And
This
now all
one-
of a sudden you're upping the stakes.
No, this is for water. This is my hydration.
Ah, I see.
I was very sleepy when I woke up this morning.
Very sleepy, I know.
I was not in the best shape to be playing Omaha.
Well, it's a good job we weren't playing Omaha.
That's very true. Commentators. See, there you go. That's how tired I am. It's been a good 24 hours. This time yesterday, I was still in the air.
Still on a flight yesterday.
Still on a flight, making my way over for the mystery bounty.
And now-
Janisovsky, 3.3 million.
Very short.
King 993. It is a tough one.
Letting it go.
I think it's one of those more marginal spots, especially when it's double suited. 9 high flush draw not really contributing anything though.
Not really. And Uher picks up the Cowboys with a jack and a 6 to make it suited.
We have the single suit Cowboys.
So it's a flat and a snap. A flat, a raise, a snap call. We're going to see a flop.
Double flush draw for Benkovic. Lots of possible straight draws from this flop.
And if we get the right flop here, it's going to be very juicy.
That's a flop.
Not so juicy. Uher just really picking up almost the best of it.
Here's the thing though. Benkovic now has flush outs. We have backdoors. The 4's going to kind of slow things down a little bit.
4's definition of a brick, really, and for these two players' hands. And Benkovic's flush draw, he just doesn't feel comfortable with a 10 high flush draw.
No, definitely. He has he does have the flush, but the problem is when it comes in, it's gonna be a check jack.
And Benkovic's checked this jack twice now.
This is a little bit more interesting. Benkovic finds the 8-3. I don't think it's strong enough to go calling with, but all of the draws are now bricked.
The draws have bricked. Uher's checked twice. I think Benkovic will find the fold with the 8 just because he could be thinking that Uher's value betting his kings and aces now.
This is very true. You are still dying to a pocket pair.
Exactly. Must use 2 from your holding in Omaha.
Exactly,
Must use
2 cards, yeah.
Benkovic counting out the call. A 1 million. It was a half pot size bet.
He's found the call with the 8-3.
He's going to be shown the bad news.
He's been shown the jack straight into the muck. Bluff catching at best, that 8-3, I think.
Yeah, definite bluff catcher, which when you've got a hand like Queen 10-8, you're going to assume Uher's raising with at least kind of suited connected combinations.
Maybe.
And your 10-8 isn't really blocking that.
Well, Uher has dragged a 1 million pot. He's up to 9 million chips. Benkovic now a little smaller with 6 million, not in any trouble yet, with these 4 and 3 million chip stacks knocking about. Blinds 150,000, blinds up even.
Blinds up.
To 200k, 400k. Nicholas now down to just 14 big blinds. We've seen him pick up 2 million chips in the last couple hands.
There is a short stack around, I believe. The player in seat 3, from the Czech Republic, by the name of Prazak, is down to about 3.3. There, no, it's actually Janosovsky, who is down to 3.3 million big blinds. Sorry, 3.3 million chips. 8 or 9 big blinds, I believe that is.
This is going to get very dicey. And then we're going to see, as the blinds get bigger, we're going to see just a lot of stacks going in.
But potentially. I think Lon will find the defend here.
Definitely. There's a lot of good flops for Lon that are outside what you would consider Uher's range to be.
100%. Uher actually blocking a lot of them.
1.2 million is a big raise size, though.
It's a full flip, not a fake flip, a full flip.
We are 50-50.
Should Lon make the call? Suited queen, offsuit 10-8. A fully gapped hand.
Lon is slightly lower in chips. And one thing to think about is, with so many shorter stacks behind, Uher does have the option to apply pressure.
Yeah, Uher definitely wants to apply pressure. He's a slight favourite, but these two don't really want to be going to war. With a 3.9 million chip stack in play, there's a 4 million chip stack around, as it's 2 pair for Lon.
You want to be just resting on your laurels. We are still basically in flip territory.
The nut flush draw for Uher with no pair.
Uher with no pair.
Uher no pair, but nut flush draw. Lon with bottom 2 and a gut shot.
Uher is going to find the continuation. He can make the best hand. Interesting structure of bet. I think he has elected for around 2 million. 2.5.
Full pot, I believe.
This is 2 pair in the tank now.
It's a really tough decision for Lon. He's obviously got bottom 2, which in Hold'em you're, trying to contain your excitement on a board like this with bottom 2 pair, should you ever get yourself into the situation. But Omaha, a different story.
Definitely. The one thing that you've got to think now, if you're in Lon's position, is this is a very dynamic board.
Your gut shot is actually not to the nuts.
Yep, your outs aren't clean, but he can just be bluffing air.
But the question Lon needs to ask himself is, can I call down 3 streets?
Well, this will be going in, I think. If Lon makes the call here with 7.5 million in the pot, you're probably supposed to split, but there's only one size in this situation.
Yeah. The other option, Lon might decide to apply the pressure himself. He's got blockers to sets.
He just find the fold.
Lets it go.
Uher dragging a 1.6 million pot there. 1.6 million profit there. 5.2 million chip pot.
And some updated chip counts. Janowski with that short 8 big blind stack we mentioned earlier, 3.3 million. Nicholas, our other Spaniard, 2 Spaniards at the table. 14 big blinds, definitely playable, 5.7. Lon, who we just mentioned, 16 big blinds. Benkovic, also 16 big blinds. Martinez, down to 16 big blinds as well. And Uher, chipping himself up towards Capitan, 11 million and 16 million respectively.
Very well said. Capitan, the under-the-gun player. Let's see what he's got.
Playing very solidly so far. Probably going to let that go.
That's not Spanner said. That's the whole toolbox. That's the Black & Decker, like one on wheels that you get with drawers and things.
I can see it in my mind as Janowski on the short stack picks up Ace King 10 6.
How sick would it be if the flop comes Queen Jack of Diamonds as well?
Ace King
Flush
10 3.
for Uher.
He has got a flush. Is that a shot of water as well?
A shot? No, there will be no shots this evening. I don't think I could hack it. I wouldn't make it back for the main event day 2 stream on Sunday. I think.
Do you not?
He has like to stick the raise in.
Much more reasonable on the button with a bigger stack compared to the very similar looking hand we saw before.
Ace King as well for Nicholas. Ace King's been very Nicholas has been very active with 3 bets and repots.
He certainly has, and it's a very premium.
He looks like he's going for the repot.
He's made the motion that he wants to repot it, which is going to be, I've got had to guess to around, there we go, 3.3 million.
Well, this is it's a committing stack size. Uher now struggling with cards that block themselves.
Suited Ace King.
How much?
Dominated by Nicholas. In a really tough shape.
Just wait for the graphics to update. There you go. 3.5 million.
3.5 it was. Still committal.
Yeah.
More chips in the pot.
It's one size. It's one size or fold. Your hair counting out. Just figure out how much will I have left if I go for this and brick. Funnily enough, it could just come Ace King and they both have the same hand. If the board comes dry and all of this gallivanting was for nothing. Deep in the tank with the Ace King 10-3.
Really thinking. Nicholas, obviously, he doesn't know the hands that Nicholas has been picking up. But all he's seen on this feature table
is 3-bet, 3-bet, 3-bet.
There's a lot of 3-bets. There's a lot of committal bets.
Here we go. Here comes the repot. And we're going to find the call, I assume, from Nicholas.
Just a flat call. Wants to take a flop.
Oh, this is very interesting. I thought this was going all in. I thought we were repotting. Well, we only have a quarter pot size behind now.
Looks already ready to turn the cards over to his back. Nicholas with the best of it. Puts the rest in.
This is uncomfortable for everybody. But obviously Nicholas, he's only got 1.8 mil. The pot's 7.6.
And we see a call with the Ace King high. No draw.
The 9 is currently the card winning here. Everything can change.
Everything can change.
But Uher can only find the 10 or the backdoor flush.
The 10 or the backdoor flush, and he's got four hearts in his hand.
This would be incredible if it happens.
Nicholas has one. He's got a jack to hit for the backdoor straight draw. There's one heart.
Here's one.
Always a sweat.
It would be disgusting. Whoa, and the 6. I saw red.
The flash of red.
Well, the
Scary for all players.
The 9 is going to take it. Nicholas, having come in on just 13 big blinds, is now up to 11 million. A hair down to 5.3.
That's going to put him second or third in chips.
A hair is now in the tough spot. I think they've actually swapped positions on the leaderboard.
I believe so. Do you think that's frustration setting in for Uher?
I think maybe. It's tough to fold, even though you have even though you do have Ace King, just Ace King. It's tough to fold when it's a 25% bet. I feel like it should have gone in pre or just not gone in at all.
Well, you'd imagine that if Uher wants to call it pre, he wants to see a flop and then allow himself to fold, but that's arguably one of the worst flops he can expect to see.
Yeah. And subsequently make the call.
And then to subsequently make the call as well after that.
I know, it's a very interesting spot. I'm not familiar with the intricacies of things like this.
No criticism at all. Perhaps it's quite a standard thing. Maybe a standard meta on this game if he's played with Nicholas. Remember, he's played all day with Nicholas.
That's very true. I really like these chips, by the way.
You know,
As Nicholas stacks them up.
Card Casino have some really good-looking tournament chips.
The main event chips that will be in play on the stream on Sunday, they are gorgeous.
I've not had a chance to see them.
They're they've got, you know how tribal designs kind of have these like stripes and kind of like circles and stuff
Yes.
with like dark colors contrasting. It's just perfect. I love it. I love it very, very much. We'll see those on Sunday during our main event stream at 4 p.m. UTC +1.
Well, whether we're in the commentary booth or on the table ourselves.
Well, if we're on the table, you'll be joined by the lovely James Ablett and Charlie Reed.
Certainly will be. Nicholas again picking up a hand from the small blind.
Goes elect for the limp here. I don't mind it. I don't mind it at all.
4, 5, 8, 9. Double suited for Capitan. To the flop.
Nicholas has found it already.
The second nut flush for Nicholas.
I have a feeling
Third
he's just going to go check, trying to let Capitan either bluff at it or go for a bet. But, ooh, maybe he does find it. He does find the bluff.
Capitan with just no blockers in his hand, just pure aggression.
How many miles to Hollywood, Jacob?
7,000, I believe.
Let's book Nicholas straight on a flight. That was that was a laboured call. This is going to be interesting.
Scary
Capitan's now found
board.
trips.
Will he just check down, or will he turn his trips into a bluff?
I think when he's bluffed, I think he has to go for another street now. The bet was very small on the turn.
You're blocking the full houses of your opponent. The most likely ones based on the action, right? Check.
And Capitan's thinking now, like, he can't have the flush here. He checked the flop.
Exactly, and it's hard for him to have a boat. A block 10-4, blocks ace-10. It's going to get
Basically
snap
a
called
snap call. Yeah, Nicholas now up to 13 million. Almost chip leader.
from 0 to hero.
So it's hero indeed. I do like they're just flat when there's now boat opportunities and there's still the king and the queen of clubs out there.
Yeah, you can't be too greedy.
That's the perfect river, I think, for Capitan to try another street. I think if it were a 9-8 or 5 and he found 2 pair,
It's a very good bluff.
he would find the check down, yeah.
You know your trips is no good.
Look at that, Nicholas stacking up those pings.
He hadn't even
100Ks in play.
He hadn't even finished stacking from the previous hand, and he's just found himself a heap load more.
Do you think there are rules on you need to stack your chips in 20s and 40s? Because if there are, Nicholas is breaking them right now.
He is breaking them. So as far as I'm aware, in the Tournament Directors Association guidelines for poker, it's on the players to make their chips presentable. They're not allowed to mix colours, but there is nothing in there about specific stack sizes. So they don't have to stack their chips in 20s. 20s obviously being the standard stack size.
I'll be making mine 22 just so it looks like I have more chips.
Or you could do what happened to me in a tournament where someone accidentally stacked them all in 19s.
Oh, the classic.
And that does make it really difficult to read. And again, it's up to the floor to decide whether you're angle shooting or not, right? If I stack all my chips in 19s on purpose, it's...
Hold the phone. We have kings and aces. Nicholas finding everything at the minute.
a really
Aces
good
with the suit,
spot.
wheels.
And don't forget, he pulled this move on Leon before.
I think Lon's going to get all in here.
I think Lon with his ace, king, blocks aces, has the 4. It is a rainbow hand.
We've gone up to 4.2 million. It's going to fold through. Lon, I think, just waiting to count the repot.
It's more than likely going to go all in here.
Kings, when you have the ace blocker. The ace blocker is very important.
Against Nicholas, who's been hyper aggressive on this table.
He's been hyper aggressive, but because he's had the hands. That's what's gotten me.
But this is what the other players don't know. Nicholas is finding these good hands. Lon, a very capable player. Shaking his head in disbelief as to what's happened to him.
Am I going to have to get it in with kings here? That's what he's thinking. Writing, well and truly on the wall.
Money jumps, just so that everyone's aware. I have on my Photos app saved a picture.
What's it worth to Lon then? What's it worth?
How many players have we got left at this final
We have
table?
7, so we're not even in the money yet.
We are on the bubble.
This is the exact bubble. This is why Lon's suffering so much.
This is why it's really tough for Lon.
And this is one of those. This is one of those painful ICM spots we were talking about earlier.
It's a 4,225 euro bubble. He's in this event for at least 1,500. I don't know how many bullets he's fired.
Well, this is the thing, right? This is what I was thinking about this tournament. The min cash is almost 3x the buy-in. That's pretty big.
This is what happens when you got a short field. A small field.
He finds the fold, a laboured fold at that. I think Nicholas might be showing him the aces.
Well, he'll see them on stream in 20 minutes' time.
Oh, Alexa, Nossi, they're not allowed to use their phones. He'll have to see it afterwards.
On the break, I'm sure.
Yes, obviously they'll be able to use on break. If you have to make a phone call or anything. Maybe Lon's got friends at home frantically texting him. He has aces. Get rid of them. I think the thing that made that even tougher for Lon was holding that ace blocker. It's harder
100%.
for Nicholas to have aces.
And he has seen that Nicholas made the raise previously with ace king jack 9
yes, exactly.
and got it in on the flop. So super tough.
It's just all falling into place at the minute. Very active because of hands. Benkovic unlikely to open here with the king 8-7-7. Does make the fold. Uher also not with very nice cards. Lon double suited ace queen 7-4. Just elects to get rid of it. Not looking to get into any difficult spots. He's been in the blender once. Doesn't want Nicholas to put him in the blender again. Lon, arguably in the worst seat at the table, has the 2 biggest stacks directly to his left.
Yeah, really struggling. And as we've said, a very capable player. Finding the fold there as well.
I think when you're on the bubble, you don't want to just force yourself into any of these indifferent spots. Because as we say, that's where you make the mistakes when the game isn't easy. Jack 9 5-2.
Under a lot of
Janosovsky,
pressure.
Considering, he could be considering the call. I wouldn't expect it. He's more considering, do I jam as bluff?
Well,
Does find the fold.
it's a really tough situation.
Definitely. Martinez
On the
finding
bubble.
more.
On the bubble. Are we on the stone cold bubble? We are.
Yeah, we are on the stone bubble. The thing, though, for Janosovsky, he's the shortest stack now by a good few big blinds. So it doesn't mean a lot for him to bust. It doesn't mean... He's indifferent to the fact that he can bust it because he has the smallest ICM value anyway.
That's true. Actually, just caching here is going to be good. I mean, well, you say that, but I'm sure if we wanted to run ICM through our mobile devices, we could. And work out that the amount of chips he has, 2.5 million. How many chips are in play, Ethan?
56 million.
56 million, so he has 2.9. 3.9 with 2.9.
Oh, 2.5. So
2.5. So he's locked up himself
4%. He's got about 4% of chips.
4%. 4% of the total 80,000 prize pool. What's that?
Oh, you caught me on the wrong day. 3,200 euro.
So that's how much his chips are worth at the minute.
That is almost a min-cash.
Exactly. So he's fighting for his life for that min cash. He nearly might have found it if we saw the aces go into the kings.
Very true. Died for cash. So, Nicholas opening the ace-queen jack with the 3. No calls just yet. Janosovsky getting rid of the queen 9 and the ace-queen 4-4. Not elected to defend from Benkovic.
Interesting that ace queen 4-4 doesn't like to defend. Again,
I wouldn't want to get in Nicholas's way right now.
we're on the bubble. We're on the bubble. Nicholas is very competent.
Call me naive, but I expect a PLO bubble to break pretty quickly. I feel like the equities are just too marginal.
Well, PLO is definitely more of a post-flop game than a pre-flop game. And so your card selection is really important.
Definitely.
You don't want to get yourself into a situation where you've just got 1 pair, no draw. And it's that no draw part. It's the having 2 pair with a redraw is so much stronger than having 2 pair with no draw. Even a set with no draw is vulnerable.
Suffering.
Exactly.
There's not many clean boards in poker, are there?
Definitely not in 4-card Omaha.
Most of them have a little bit of something going on. Capitan, we're not sure what cards he has. He has raised to 1 mil, 2.5x. Janosovsky with the
Janosovsky.
kings.
This is what he's been waiting for.
It's going in here.
Surely. Not going to find many better spots against the chip leader, who's opening wide.
He does repot. If he was folding there, I would have walked upstairs and told him off. Benkovic in the perfect spot finds aces.
How's he found that?
Aces with a suit. Elects for the re-raise. Capitan, I'm not sure what he has. Uher now with ace, king, queen, 10.
What a pretty hand. And he's going to be feeling the burn from his last ace-king hand, and he might...
This is what we play Omaha for, ladies and gentlemen.
Might be considering this one.
Aces, kings, ace, king, queen, 10, and who knows what Capitan has. We're yet to see him make a move. Smile and fold from the ace, king, queen, 10.
A very good fold, a very smart fold. And Capitan, well, he might just say, well, you two have at it. I don't need to sacrifice any chips.
He's thinking about it. He's asked for the count.
6 million is the count.
He's looking. I'm not sure what he had. We'll never know, but here we go. King, king, queen, 7. Janosovsky informed of the bad news. Also, a king dead for Janosovsky.
Janosovsky in pain as someone is...
Going for the little Instagram shot. The little social media post.
I wonder if someone will go and tell them that they're in the way.
We'll just see a very big, hairless hand slap it out of the way.
All diamonds, so...
No one has diamonds here.
No, so even Janosovsky has queen of diamonds, it's no good.
Here comes the 8 for Benkovic. And that's going to seal the deal for Benkovic. 2 pair. Janosovsky, the bubble boy, taps the table. Now all players guaranteed 4,225
They are being paid
of the European Union's finest.
of the EU gold.
EU gold.
And fully enough, again, we were saying this before, it's always the spanners that win you a pot.
It's always the spanners.
And
Exactly.
aces were good, but 8-7 was better.
8-7 was very good. Okay, well now this is where fireworks can start. Now the shortest stack, I'm not entirely sure who it is.
So
We're hoping we can bring a chip count up soon. Jacob's going to give you a quick update on the payouts.
I am.
Continue.
I am. So the players have just gone from a 0 cash to a 4,225 euro cash,
Very
which
tidy.
is a 4,225 euro money jump, if you like. The next money jump is to 5,355 euros, which is approximately 1,100 euros. So
I was watching him do that calculation. That looks strained.
it was.
It's very late in the day, isn't it?
It's been a long day. It was a long night last night.
It was a very long night. A very long night last night.
It feels like 10 in the morning. It is, in fact, 10 in the evening.
I don't know how fresh you feel, but it doesn't feel like 10 in the morning for me. Ace, Queen, 9-4 for Martinez. Makes the raise.
So seeing players loosen up now.
Here's the thing as well. Now that you've actually made the money, this is where you want to either build the stack or just get out.
100%, and this is where you can start using your post-flop edge. There's no risks involved. You're not going to find yourself in awkward situations as often.
Lon's definitely coming along here with the King, Queen, Jack, 8. The hearts, sure, they're blocking themselves, but you have a lot of good flops, sir.
100%.
This is one of the spots where the price is too good.
Yeah, we've spoken about this before.
Lon Uher and Martinez are all sitting around 4, 5, 6 million. So what's going to happen is they're going to be looking for this big double up so they can start contesting for the real money, just the larger payouts.
Yeah, with a substantial amount of money up top.
Exactly, 23,000 euro.
26,000 euros.
Very nice.
For the victor.
And then Benkovic, not as much, but Nicholas and Capitan are just going to want to stay out of the way almost. They obviously have the opportunity to put pressure on Benkovic, but there's no point getting into a 13 million chip pot and losing it when you've got 3 chip stacks to bust, effectively.
No, so we have a wrap for Lon.
We have a wrap for Lon. We need to know what Benkovic has. He needs to put his cards in the box.
Yeah, someone tell that man. He's decided to put his cards behind the box.
It's fine. As he folds, we'll find out. But
So Lon has decided to get it in with his wrap. And maybe we'll find out what Benkovic has.
Hold on, what's going on here? Oh, he's just bet. He's bet with the small chips, right?
Yeah, Lon's gone all in. Oh no, he's not gone all in. He's potted it, which is leaving him a small amount of change behind.
I see. Yep, he's gone for the pot. Now we see what Benkovic
As
has.
they cross the reader, jacks with 3s.
With clubs.
Interesting fold. Has the clubs, has the over.
Yeah, but the jack of clubs is probably never good when he just goes for the straight pot, the committing straight
It's
pot.
unlikely, yeah. So a very nice pickup there for long.
You are just really playing jacks there. The jack, you can almost assume that the jack 3 is not often good.
Unlikely, yes.
Seldom.
Unlikely. You're blocking some bluffs from your opponent as well, right?
Exactly, you're blocking bluffs. You're not beating some of his bluffs. Just a disgusting situation to be in. Is that a card casino lighter?
It is a card casino lighter.
Is there anything they don't brand in this place?
I do not know. You can get matches. You can get lighters.
You can get an Audi from what we saw earlier.
Apparently so. Free of charge as well. Very nice of them.
That is very nice. I like that.
Yeah, very good.
For those who've never visited casinos in Slovakia, in both many bars and gambling institutions, you are actually still allowed to smoke.
You are inside the building.
The UK, I believe, it was either 2004 or 2008 they had the smoking ban.
See, I was going to go 2007.
Oh, what's the line? I'll Google it.
What do you want? 2004, 2008?
I'll set the line to 2006 and let you have fun.
I'll go over on to. Oh, actually, do I get 2006?
Inclusive on the over.
So if I can have 2006 or higher, I'll take 2006 or higher.
The smoking ban. 1st of July 2007. You were right.
Oh, look at that.
Meanwhile, Lon has a 9. Lon has some 10s.
He has got 10.
Nicholas has nothing and does make this fold in his blind be blind pot, and I still pick up the Lon up to 8.3 million.
Really chipped up, almost a double up actually because he pots it for his stack.
He pots it 3. Yeah, he pots
So
it
he doubled up almost because he would have committed a million or so pre-flop.
He's doubled up, and he's not had to get a showdown. What a legend.
Well, that's the game in PLO.
We do love PLO. Big blind ante's still in play 6-handed. I wonder if they halve it when they go down to 4.
So they haven't been doing that in other competitions.
Oh, so it's full big blind ante the whole way.
It will be full. If it's going to be anything like any of the other competitions here, any of the other tournaments, they'll be paying their full big blind all the way to heads up,
This
and
is
including
heads up. Very, very
and
interesting.
including heads up. Yeah, I mean,
So much dead money.
4 cards. Will we see any pre-flop folds?
May as well just flat blind. That's how I'd play it.
Bomb pots.
Bomb. Yeah, do you just want to go straight to the flop?
Yeah, let's just double the blinds and do bomb pots.
We'll just chuck a mill in there and then see what happens. Nicholas with another incredible hand. Jacks double suited with the 7-6. 7-6 is actually quite good because it gives you a little bit of board coverage as well. You're now no longer as struggling on these milling hands. Capitan does have a 7-6 as well, so fortunately means nothing, but interesting nonetheless.
So Capitan out-flopping Nicholas here. And Capitan's been quite an aggressive player, so it does go check on the flop, but that doesn't mean anything.
Capitan has just seen, though, Nicholas check call a flop flush twice. So he's going to be a little bit concerned.
Nicholas picks up the open ender, but Capitan picks up the wrap.
This is the thing. If a 2 peels off, Capitan wins. If an 8 peels off, they chop, and if a 3 peels off, they chop.
Exactly. Rainbow board as well, so all Nicholas decides to do, gets out of the way.
Does just get out of the way.
Open ender on the turn. Again,
Interesting fold with the 7-6.
Well, he's got to think, if I brick my draw, are my jacks good?
Seldom with an ace and a king on the bottom.
Exactly, seldom. And so you're committing a lot of chips on the turn with 1 card to come. With just an open ender, you shouldn't even really do that in Hold'em.
That's news to me.
That's why I like playing with you.
All right, the button rotates for another hand. Have we just had it? No, we haven't just had the dealer change.
We have just had a dealer change.
Oh, and I've missed the opportunity to come up with some interesting and quasi-scientific question. I'll have a think.
Quasi-scientific question.
I'm a quasi man, not a quasi man.
I say quasi. Is that American, do you think?
Oh, definitely.
More than
It's
like.
kind of thing they say. Benkovic, king, queen, queen, jack with the spade draw.
I would say that's pretty premium.
I'm not entirely sure exactly what the open ranges are
One of the
for Omaha, but I'm going to put that in there.
It is. That one of the first Omaha hands that I won was with king, queen, queen, jack. And I remember it because I got a right rub down afterwards by the player.
You're opening that?
Well, yeah.
You fish.
So maybe it's not a very good hand. Yeah, I got a right rub down. I flopped a set with an open-ended straight flush draw. And we got it all in. And she had 10s. She wasn't very happy with my decision to flat call the 3-bet pre-flop. As Martinez from the big blind defends with queen, jack, 9-9 in a lot of trouble here. Really dominated. Needs to hit a set. And even then, hope there's no straight possibilities.
Can't find many dry boards in this game, can you?
Not really. That's the one of the drier ones, though. With an ace out there, it's going to slow Benkovic down quite a lot.
Not if he chooses to represent it. Benkovic seems to come from the older school of Omaha player.
Bet when you've bet.
Bet when you bet.
Check when you've checked.
Exactly. And just find the fold and picks up a big part of Martinez. Martinez now the short stack. Seems to be that specific area. We're going to have if Martinez best, we'll have a little divide between Capitan and the rest of them.
Capitan, well, it's all right because the chips are almost balanced.
Yeah, true. Almost.
Between the halves of the tables.
It'll become a 4v1. It looks a little bit like a 4v2 at the minute.
Certainly does.
Martinez is in the small blind. Lots of jamming potential here versus any open before him. If he gets the cards. Or maybe he decides he doesn't need them.
It's a deceptively large table.
It's a very large table. I don't think I've ever sat at anything playing poker where the other person's been so far away from it. It's like being on opposite ends of a snooker table.
It really is. It really is. And actually, as someone who has relatively poor eyesight, I struggled from C8 to read the board.
We should have got someone over to like assist you and like whisper the flop in your ear.
That would have been nice. Ace, King, Queen, 3 suited, single suited, with a blocker to his own flush.
This could be very interesting if Martinez picks up a hand because I think they're both eager to get in and chip up.
100%.
Everyone's starting to get a little bit antsy.
But Nicholas has picked up a hand.
More golden than the table, this boy. He's going to go for a re-raise.
100% re-raising, and Uhair peeled off to a flop before with a worse hand than this.
Ace, King, 10-3, all hearts. Yeah, I can't imagine who has finding the fold if that's what he's calling Nicholas with, especially having seen the kind of things that Nicholas has been working with. Everything's falling to the right place on this final table. He came in with only 4 million chips.
Capitan lets go of his hand facing a 3-bet.
Martinez not coming in, and Benkovic already out of there.
Uhair is all in to call.
He's labouring over, but I think we know what's coming.
Tournament life is
Finds
all
the call.
in. He needs a lot of help here. Dominated.
Done in.
He's in really bad shape.
I can't calculate domination in Omaha. There's too many cards going on. But what I do know is we have Ace, Ace, Queen 10 of Nicholas versus the Ace, King, Queen 3 from Uhair. Uhair standing up for the extra 2%.
Both players now standing up.
Well, I guess that counts it out. We're back to 25.75. If Uhair had a jacket, he could put it on for another 2%. And then Nicholas wouldn't have a response.
Would be in trouble. He looks very defeated, Uhair.
Okay, to the flop.
Been a long couple of days.
9-4 jack, 2 hearts. No flush draw for either player. Nicholas still ahead.
Nicholas also with an open ender.
Gut shot for Uhair, though. Turn is the queen.
Doesn't really affect either player. Still a gut shot for Uhair.
Uhair is going to need
his lifeline.
And a 6 isn't going to do it. The aces of Nicholas hold. Nicholas, now the biggest chip stack. Uhair eliminated for 4,225 of the European Union's finest. I don't think we need to count these chip stacks.
That one would be a bit overkill.
Just to make sure we do it right.
7,500 euros is your next pay jump. About 2,000 euros for the next one.
So nice. What's everyone locked up? 5-3-5-5. Very nice.
Every player has locked up.
We're inching towards the 5 digits. This is very high roller. Here we go with the chip count as Uhair has just come sick for 4,225. Martinez, now the only person left on 8 big blinds. It's looking like he's going to be going soon. Benkovic, Lon, and Capitan now all in the blender as Nicholas looks to apply big pressure with his aggressive playstyle and 40 big blinds. Action continues in the PLO High Roller Vamos Poker Tour hosted at Card Casino Bratislava. I'm going to take a 5-minute break. I'm going to leave you in the lovely hands of Jacob Topley. Let's play some cards.
So we'll let Ethan go on his little break. I'll guide you through this 5-handed action for the Vamos Poker Tour. 2 Spaniards still remain out of the 5 players. Blinds look to have increased. 250,000, 500,000, 500,000. Nicholas under the gun picks up kings. He is picking up some lovely hands, isn't he? King, king, queen, 9. Definitely going to go ahead and raise. Keep this aggression and pressure on the rest of the table, for sure. Benkovic in the small blind, not at the table. And Lon lets it go. Under the gun in Omaha, very tight ranges normally. So you're not expecting to defend super wide from the big blind out of position when position is everything. So some social medias you can go ahead and follow. You can find Card Casino Bratislava on Facebook at facebook.com/cardcasino. Instagram, the same, but Card Casino Bratislava. And on the internet, cardcasino.sk, which is the area code for Slovakian websites. As mentioned, under the gun range is normally very tight in Omaha, so the hand might look really pretty, but it's not quite good enough. Same Martinez's hand. Benkovic's hand, on the other hand, is very strong. Aces and 5s, one suit with his ace. Counting out raising chips. Looks to be 1.5k, which is almost a pot size bet. 3x from the button. And Lon with a hand... Sorry, Nicholas with a hand that he can't defend. And so we'll move on to the next one. A little raise and take it.
How are we doing?
You've not missed much action other than Martinez in C8 picking up some more premium holdings.
Raise it and take it.
Raise it and take it, and then this time Benkovic coming with a raise it and take it as well.
I've just had to walk through the Spanish speaking streams commentary booth. They're very European. They've got their little saucers and their cups of coffee, biscuits.
Lovely. I would say we're very English in our commentary booth.
Red Bull,
cigarettes. Lots of half-drank vases of water.
We've got so many bottles laying about the desk. We do need to do it clean. Benkovic now picking up jacks with a suited ace in the cutoff. Just make the fold, Lon getting rid.
And it's just a little walk for Capitan.
Benkovic has made it.
Oh, sorry, no, it's
Benkovic
not.
has made it. I was going to say that was an interesting fold. Capitan now with the Nicholas hand.
That there is up there in your top 0.5% of hands in Omaha.
You can't get much more premium, can you?
0.1, the most premium. Ace, ace, king, queen is the pre-flop nuts. Some argue that it's ace, ace, jack 10. Some argue that it's ace, ace, king, king.
I'm an ace, ace, king, king kind of guy.
You're an ace, ace, king, king kind of guy.
I like being able to make two sets.
Do you? Two set draws?
Two set draws.
I think ace, ace, king, king, queen is much better because of the playability and the unblockability. The problem with ace, ace, king, king is that when you have two kings, it's even harder for your opponent to have kings. And you want your opponent to have kings. You want to get them in a 70.
I want my opponent to have jack 10, 9, 8 and brick.
Or ace, ace, or ace, jack, jack 4 and brick. But it looks like he's going to go ahead and make the fold versus the 3-bet. That's like playing Padugi and getting ace 2, 3, 4.
I feel like sometimes I'm just looking at these cards and it is just Padugi. Sometimes I forget the game that we're commentating on.
Well, sometimes when I play online, and I'm a big fan of the mixed games. I like all kind of poker. Right?
You're a little mixed game grinder, aren't you?
I love mixed game grinder. I love every form of poker that's going. Obviously, Hold'em being the bread and butter and the main game. But sometimes when you're playing Padugi and Omaha at the same time, it's very easy to forget that you are in fact playing Padugi and Omaha. And you look down at a hand that's really premium, and you have to stop yourself from quickly clicking the raise button.
Do you know what's worse than that? I have a friend who grinds Omaha online. He 8, 10, 12 tables, but it's not just Omaha. He plays high-low as well. So he has on his screen Omaha, high-low, Omaha table. How do you know what's going on?
I do the same thing.
How do you know what's going on?
You just get used to it.
Yes.
It's the only way.
Just only play premium hands or hands that are applicable for both.
Pretty much.
Cheeky Red Bull full on there, followed by a chaser of water.
Can't say I blame him.
I'm not entirely sure it's just Red Bull in and out. He's chased it. Maybe he just doesn't like the taste. Nicholas is getting a little bit looser here. King, Queen, 6-5. I don't hate it.
Has the
Good
chip,
guy steal the
please.
blind, but you are at so much risk of Martinez.
Blinds were up as you left the room. Martinez playing off of a 15 big blind stack at the minute.
So what are we playing now? 250, 500.
That's the one.
Martinez playing off of a 6 big blind stack.
Sorry, is that what I said?
You said 13. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Which makes this all more troubling for Martinez. He's got a pretty looking hand.
He's gonna peel. I don't blame him for flat calling here, and
He can get out if it goes terribly. If it comes 9-8-2.
exactly. I think at this point, once you've called off almost half your stack, you've got to any draw,
Yeah. Nicholas
draw with
has,
overcards.
all of Nicholas's like strongest kind of combinations: the 6-5, the King 5 of diamonds, dead.
Yeah,
Or chopping.
quite dominated actually.
Nicholas needs to flop King or Queen and have it just come clean.
And there's the queen, but it's the nuts for Martinez. Oh no, it's not.
It's top pair for Martinez.
It's just top bear. For some reason I thought he had king 10, but I looked at both at the same time.
He's just going to rip it. Top pair, 1.9 to 6. I don't have an issue with it. Nicholas finds the snap call.
Can't really fold.
10 will give Nicholas the straight. King will give Martinez the straight.
Blocking each other, running cards, no issue. Just the backdoor diamond draw, which, as we've mentioned, is no one's friend other than Martinez.
I have incredible deja vu all of a sudden. We are going to go off.
Deja vu.
Deja vu, indeed. Here we go. Turn. We find the king giving Martinez the straight. Nicholas has boat outs and chop outs.
The chop
The
outs
world over. Tens
are tens, and that there
is an ace.
is an ace.
Martinez with the full double. That's the first time I think Nicholas has gotten it in bad. And even then, he seems to somehow find just a few more outs to trickle over.
So Spanish on Spanish action.
So we've seen this before.
But there's a lot of players here from España. So
Well, it is the Vamos Poker Tour.
Poker Tour. So whether these players know each other or not 100% sure.
I think there's a lot of people who'll be active in the scene. It's very community feel in our side of the world. Definitely European poker has a community feel to it.
I would agree with that.
Obviously, in America, the United States, where the player pools are just so ginormous, harder to get to know people, harder to bump into people more than once. Because that's how you make friends in this world. You see them at the game on Monday, and then suddenly they're in a different card room at the game on Tuesday. Hey, do you remember that game?
Yeah, well, that's what's happened to us. That's why we know the player who's sitting in seat 7,
Andre Lon
Andre Lon.
won the Grand Prix Germany. It was Hold'em, but he does. He has a lot of PLO cashes under his belt.
Yeah, definitely a good player in both games.
Came second in the Hold'em event in EPT Prague for €200,000 in 2018.
Nice bit of trivia there. Thank you, Mr. Foreman.
We do like a little bit of trivia.
Thank you, Ethan.
I
Much
find us some more
appreciated.
trivia. $8,753 for Nicholas. No premium this time. A little bit of trivia for you as well. Bogdan Kapitan has just come off recently a cash in an Austrian PLO event and also has an EPT title in Pot Limit Omaha to his name. He won the €25,000 Pot Limit Omaha event in Prague in 2019.
That's definitely a very prestigious event to have under your belt.
He loves his Pot Limit Omaha. There's not a lot of Hold'em in his resume. He's won two. He's won 2 Omaha events in Prague.
So he'll be looking to make his another victory in an Omaha competition.
His debut in Slovakia. That would be his first Slovakian cash.
So an unknown hand from Kapitan. We're playing this one blind with Benkovic. A sweat with him. Top set. Pretty strong. Not the nicest board. You also have the third nut flush draw to go with it. So super strong from Benkovic. Never going to fold. Goes check, check.
4 on the turn. Doesn't change anything for Benkovic's holdings. Kapitan, we're still unsure what he has.
Alexa, define a brick.
I would say it is the 4 of hearts.
Agreed. I think Benkovic should start betting here.
Definitely time to go for some value. You can definitely efficiently get it in. He just chooses to pot. This isn't the sizing I'd go for personally.
The problem with potting is that you're leaving 5 million into a 10 million.
It would be a 10 million pot. I would have chosen something a little bit smaller. Not necessarily because it's going to find more calls, but it's just, it makes things less ugly when you face just terrible rivers. Not that he's not getting it in.
There's only a few scary rivers, but they do exist.
Even on a diamond, it's tough to not. It's tough to not jam there.
It is tough to not try and get that in.
And if it pairs the board, woohoo, we have the boat.
Yeah, but it's tournament poker still, don't forget, so sometimes just winning the pot outright is the best thing to do.
Captain's going to fold this ace-7-5-3 from the cutoff.
Or is he?
Well,
He's got chips to play with. Martinez is out of the pot. He can pile the pressure onto these shorter stacks. Play, hopefully, in position.
Well, I found out just now that Capitan is way better at Omaha than I will ever be. So I'm no longer going to question him. Benkovic with kings, a queen, and a 10, and single suit. Just making the flat. Very trappy.
And Lon here getting an amazing price to go
He's
for
found the
ball.
rundown. He's not letting go of this just yet.
He has a straight in his hand.
A sick man would find the raise. Lon just electing for the call. See the flop. Assess the situation. And we are off to the first 3 cards of this polymer of our hand.
So if Capitan's taking down an EPT event, Lon's looks like he's been around for a while. They're going to be no strangers to a feature table.
We're no strangers to a feature table. This is dynamic.
Lon with his
Just
almost
snap pots
almost a full wrap.
Just snap pots it. Benkovic,
Hard to
not
go
at any
anywhere.
license to get rid
Hard
of the
to
open ender.
Hard to go anywhere. Open ender, top pair, kings actually good.
There's only one combo of top set.
Backdoor flush draw.
I like Omaha because there's a million one things we can say.
There's a lot going on.
There is a lot going on.
There's a lot of things to consider. 16 times more things going on. Is that right? Does the math check out on that one?
Yeah, it sounds about right.
Because you've got...
Is Benkovic going to find this fold? No, he just found the all-in. Lon
Jams, Lon.
committed, not going anywhere. Jack 10, 9, 8. We do have open ender versus open ender.
But a slightly better open ender for Lon.
Even if Lon hits this king to make his straight, Benkovic picks up boat outs.
And if the board pairs on the turn, his king's no longer... A king would be no longer good. So it's an uncomfortable situation for Lon to be in.
This is interesting. Let's see what the turn card brings. Just as we count out chips and verify how much is in this pot.
So an 8, a 10, a 7 picks up a...
Picks up just more things. More things have occurred.
More things have occurred, indeed.
Benkovic still retaining the best of it. To the river.
10 no good. Queen no good. Benkovic is going to knock out our friend Lon.
Unfortunate. With so many good cards to make a straight. So many different ways to do it. Benkovic, cold stone face, no emotion.
Waiting for some confirmations of what's going on.
I think he's realised that he's won the pot now. And will be locking up 5,300, locking up 7,540 euro.
So I believe they were just double checking stacks, double checking chip counts. There's the confirmation from the dealer. Seat open.
Lon shaking Martinez and Capitan's hand.
Very good to see. I love some poker etiquette.
Electing to not shake Martinez's. Interesting. Maybe something that we're not privy to. That's the
Possibly.
man of the hour, Benkovic. Just tried a very large pot there, just with kings at the start of it. But now through to the queen. And we're now four-handed. Do we have the exact numbers on what's been locked up so far?
We can find that information out. So they are four-handed at this final table. Each player has locked up 7,540 euros. Lon was eliminated in 5th place for a healthy purse of 5,355 euros.
To be honest, we inch ever closer. Any experience in four-handed PLO?
Not a lot. Not a lot. It's something that if I was... I've always been telling myself that as Capitan picks up aces, double suited no less, I've always been telling myself that Omaha's the next frontier, right? There's more going on, there's more things to learn, there's more things to do. And so I was going to try and study it, but then I always think, well, there's still loads more to study and learn in Hold'em, so I'll just carry on doing that. And
Every time I think about learning Omaha, I open the window, I open the website, I have a quick look, and I'm swiftly reminded that I have no clue what's going on.
It's the same with me in tournament poker, to be honest. I'm still a little cash game player, and all of a sudden you open up more information about tournament strategies, and you find out that there's a whole of a lot going on behind the scenes of the top level players. So
There's a hell of a lot going on.
So we're going to go to a flop. The aces double suited of Capitan versus the suited and connected combination of King, Queen, 9, 8.
Capitan picking up the nut flush draw and the backdoor nut flush draw. Lots of nut flush draws out. And just an 8 for Benkovic so far. Can still be good.
Very dry, or relatively dry board at the minute, but lots of room for it to
Moisten. Never ends that way. Never ends dry in pot limit Omaha.
Very rare for the nuts to remain the nuts. Seldom is that the case, as we see a relatively large bet.
Is that 2/3? Smells of 2/3. Looks like 2/3.
We're going to find out once the dealer's counted it out. It's just a smidge under 2/3, I think.
Yep, just a little bit. 1.8.
Top pair.
Henkovic finding the call.
Top pair. Benkovic says no way.
Not with these 2 pair outs. Heart peels off on either the turn or river card. Benkovic is snap getting rid of it. Three no good for improving either player's hand.
Makes Capitan feel a bit less comfortable with his flush draw. However, pocket threes in Omaha, if we talk about Omaha ranges, it's not very often that the button's going to be peeling with 5s or less.
Exactly.
And it's not very often that he's going to have a 3 in his hand. Because you're expecting it to be something like Benkovic's hand at the minute, some kind of connected Broadway high card combination.
Ginormous. It's going to be an absolute flick it in.
So that bet looks a little bit bigger than the last one.
That is definitely bigger than the last one. That is chips on chips on chips. $3.3 million. It's more than it looked, but it's actually it's good for getting it in because it's basically half pot here. Benkovic, if he had the hand to call with, basically half pot on the river as well. Efficient. This man knows his stuff.
And Benkovic's thinking, well, because that 3 is really bad for him because any of his 2 power outs that he may have had are now losing to aces. So
yep, that's very true.
he can't hit a queen as an out. He can't hit a king. He can't hit an 8. Sorry, he can't hit a 9, but he can hit an 8, obviously.
Well, there's 2 of them in the deck.
And yeah, it's really tough.
Is Benkovic convincing himself that Capitan's bluffing?
Well, you're blocking top set.
Excellent. Well, there's very unlikely to be top boat then.
You're blocking kings, you're blocking queens, you're blocking 9s, although that's not as relevant. And you're unblocking the flush draws, blocking one or 2 hand combinations of open-ended straight draws or wraps. So it's a really interesting one. Capitan can have a lot of bluffs here, and Benkovic knows that. Looks like he wants to get rid of it. Does get rid of it.
He does get rid of it. Away it goes.
A good fold there from Benkovic. Really tempting to be a bit of a stickler for that one.
Who do you think's played the best game of this final table so far?
I think it's difficult to say. I think now that I know the history of Capitan, there is a bias. If you'd have asked me without this knowledge, I would have probably said Capitan. He's been playing more hands than the others.
Yeah,
with a bigger
definitely.
chip stack,
He's getting involved.
and he's finding bets where
Others would check back.
others might check back. Yeah, exactly. He's successfully bluffed a couple of players already, with just well timed and smart.
One thing I like about
Decisions.
Capitan, he has 2 watches on.
He has 2 watches on.
He has 2 watches on.
I'm going to have a look. One looks like it could be a fitness tracker. Are they both on his left wrist or the one on his right?
No, one on the left, one on the right. Might be a fitness tracker, but it does come with a clock. I would consider that a watch.
He has 2 methods of telling the time. He always knows.
It's so he can roll efficiently. If he rolls on his left wrist and it becomes passive, but he doesn't like it, he can re-roll on his right wrist.
I see.
and find the aggressive bet.
Nicholas picking up a rather lovely looking hand.
Nicholas with only 1 watch.
Just the 1 watch for Nicholas. That's going to potentially be a bit of a disadvantage later down the line.
Exactly. May become unbalanced through only having one watch. Does make this raise to 1.5 million. Capitan obviously not going to be defending this liberally. Does make the fold.
No, big stack versus big stack when there's money jumps involved.
Exactly. These are the 2 players who are the most active and the most aggressive, and the 2 that really don't want to get involved with each other. They'll be thinking in their heads, let's just chop up Martinez, let's just chop up Benkovic, and then we can start tangoing.
So both are Spaniards still in the final 4.
I think they were the only Spaniards on the table.
Exactly, yeah. Done really well. Really good showing for España.
We are walking into a dealer change.
Dealer change. Any trivia about for this dealer change or any questions?
No trivia, but do we think we could ever see 5-card or 6-card tournament formats? Or do we think that the gamble is just too high?
I think the gamble is potentially too high. Players that play those 6-card cash games, are playing those 6-card cash games to throw cash around, not to sit there and grind and try and get to a final table and think about money jumps.
I agree. That's fine. That's fair.
4, 5, 6 tournaments on the other hand add an interesting dynamic. They're a bit of fun. We've played one in Goliath.
That is
this
very
year.
true. 4, 5, 6, where it's not permanently just you getting it in.
Yeah, it's a bit more interesting, and the amount of cards in the hand at different stages of the tournament really make differences.
I made an absolute mess of myself in that 4, 5, 6 tournament. I became such a nit. I was very, very confused. Jacks for Martinez, definitely making a defend here. We're a little bit deeper.
We are, obviously, as people get knocked out.
We are going to go to a flop.
People become deeper as people get knocked out. Martinez actually finding the raise off of the limp from Capitan, and we're not going to go to a flop.
Oh, we're not going to go.
We're not
He
going
just
to.
found the raise. I thought it just made the call.
So, updates on your chip counts. Lon, as mentioned, knocked out in 5th place for 5.3k. Martinez, our short stack, with 16 big blinds, 8.4 million. Capitan, 3rd place now with 15 million. Benkovic with 16 million. And Nicholas with 17 million. All very close at the top. Only 4 big blinds separate the top 3. Martinez hanging on.
By a thin sliver.
A double watch Capitan folds his button. Martinez gonna let it go. Benkovic, our chip leader, picking up another cheeky pot. A cheeky one.
We're going to be moving chips around a lot here, I think. Now that there's not a clear short stack and that both Benkovic and Martinez are kind of closer, people are going to want to get it in a little bit less. Just that teeny bit less.
You're also deeper, you know, there's, I believe it's 30 plus big blinds for every player. That's a 30 big blind stack.
Here's a little bit of trivia for you.
I'll go on then.
So obviously next week, 4th of October,
Yep.
the E-Top tour, PLO tour, returns to Card Casino.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know who won it last time it came to this venue in July?
Is it a player on our feature table?
It's Lubos Benkovic.
It's Lubos Benkovic, so another solid PLO player.
They didn't make these Omaha regs out of nothing.
They certainly did not.
The 1972 of Nicholas, pretty bricking this flop. Capitan couldn't really ask for much more in terms of
Just the open ender, just the second nut flush draw.
Just two pair.
Just two pair, you know. I don't expect to see Nicholas continue his defensive line with just the backdoor flush draw.
Capitan really applying the pressure.
Yeah, and it working out, paying off for him.
I think Capitan is expecting to have the post-flop edge here. Are we going on to break?
More than
Looks
likely.
like it. Maybe a chip race.
Unlikely to be a chip race. But
No, mayhaps. We're going to 3-6 now, so 25k is less relevant. We might just go up to 100ks.
maybe bring out some 1 million
We'll have to see. We'll see.
1 million chips.
See what manifests. You are watching the Vamos Poker Tour. And we are straight back into it. Captain peeling the ace 9 8 2. Elects to fold the small blind. Nicholas having raised his one gapper. We just had a little chat, Jacob and I, with a few of the people who are in this circuit. Some very interesting things that we found out. The ruffling is him coming back. What have we just learned about these people left in this field?
We have learnt they are almost all
PLO specialists.
PLO specialists.
Bogdan, obviously, we found out via the internet that he knows what he's doing. And Benkovic also very, very good at his job.
I would say making it to the final four of a high roller would immediately grant you status as knowing what you're doing in PLO. But some significant cashes for these players.
Obviously, we now know that Nicolas, PLO specialist, doesn't just run good, plays good too. And he's found the ace, queen, 10, 8. We're four-handed, so ranges are only going to get wider. And that's really where Omaha gets fun.
100%. I'd love to play some Omaha heads up at some point. Might have to give it a go online. As I love heads up hold'em. I'm sure heads up Omaha would be even more fun.
Anything marginal and confusing keeps me going.
That's why I like mixed games so much, because it's more thinking, more fun, more better,
More gamba.
less gamba, hopefully.
More skill.
More skill, exactly. And it's harder to find information online about mixed games, so that can bring the average skill level of your opponents down a lot. Hold'em is not a fully solved game, but there's a lot of good strategies and information you can access easily. PLO, not so much. Badoogie, definitely not.
Badoogie.
One of my favourites.
Just the word Badoogie makes me laugh.
And Capitan going for the 3-bet.
Interesting.
These high-level strategies, something we're not 100% sure about as spectators.
I've seen worse 3-bet bluffs.
I mean, applying your Hold'em knowledge, you have what I would like to call blockers to his strong ace-X combinations and unblockers to a lot of his marginal hands. And he's going to get the fold.
He's caught Nicolas.
With a decent holding as well.
I just don't think he's backing it. Backing it versus the 3-bet. Still, I see him a massive factor with these smaller stacks involved.
Well, just the smaller stack of the player in seat 2. The two Spaniards, I don't want to get them mixed up.
Martinez.
Believe it's
is
Martinez.
in seat 2, and Nicolas is in seat 8.
There we go. I will not get them mixed up again. Martinez, the player, short stack at risk in this tournament.
Capitan is going to be first to act in this hand. He peels ace 9 8 6.
With the way Capitan's playing, this wouldn't surprise me if he decides to open it. He has got the suited ace. He has got some gapped and connected lower cards.
He is a man that looks very, very confident.
He looks very comfortable at this poker table.
Very comfortable at this
Definitely
table.
not his first feature table. Neither will it be Benkovic's, I would imagine. Still not liking to put his cards in the box.
This looks like a repot.
And we're going to sweat with Capitan in this hand then.
This is a tough sweat to be in.
Nicholas going to get out of the way.
Sticks it up to 4.5.
And Capitan in position may choose to flick in the call.
Capitan's found a 3-bet bluff. Is Capitan going to find a 4-bet bluff? 2 all in?
It would be
It would be disgusting.
a very ballsy play.
I think they call that a vile. I think it would be a vile play.
Just counting his own chips, working out how much he's playing. Is reaching. Is counting.
Is he just reaching for the call? I'm very excited. I'm excited for this pot.
It's a big sweat for us. Has another look and lets it go.
I think he's made the right call, to be honest.
Yeah.
Benkovic,
The chip leader doesn't want to play a huge pot, even in position. Here's some updated chip count. Martinez down to 11 big blinds, 6.6
Benkovic,
million.
now our new chip leader.
Benkovic is the new chip leader, 32 big blinds. Capitan, 28 big blinds. Lots of playability. 2 Spaniards shortest at the table, 13 million chips for Nicholas.
There's a lot to go down before the day is through. There's only about 90 big blinds between them.
Which
93,
you say
in fact.
you say only, but that is a significant amount for a
That is,
final
yeah, that
table.
is 30 average.
As they should be for such a high roller event. Obviously, structure's going to be very good.
You wanna-
Lots of
Yeah.
playability.
Keep them deep. Give the margin for skill to take hold rather than variance.
Exactly. Let the good plays shine through.
And I think everybody here is making good plays.
100%. The quality's been superb.
Ace King 4-2 in the small blind. This is going to be a steal attempt from Nicholas. Opts for the limp instead. Trappy, trappy. And what a time to find it.
As Capitan pulls a single suited ace. Ace A6-3. Not going to take the check as an option.
No limpers here.
Bumps it up. Full pot. No, less than full pot.
We're punishing limpers today.
My apologies. And Nicholas is going to lay it down.
Just gets rid of it. Just wanted to try and see a flop, not given the option, decides to just fold.
A very good looking hand for high-low. Maybe not so much for regular PLO.
Maybe Nicholas is playing the wrong game and realised halfway through.
I think if you think about talking about Omaha from a 2-card, 3-card, and 4-card hand perspective, Nicholas only really had the 2 cards there. He only really had the Ace King working in his favour. Oh, the 2 and the 4. You know, if you play, you shouldn't be playing 2-4 high in Hold'em, should you? So that's one way to dissect these hands.
We have 4 cards. We are going to see Benkovic's cards now. 9s under the gun. The 4-3 suit is actually not the worst combination of spanners. He is going to get rid of it.
They just don't work very well together. This is a hand where the cards do work well together.
The further we get along, the more important whole hand playability is going to become.
100%.
Nicholas raising Queen Jack Jack 7. 3 diamonds, not the greatest of situations, but it's workable. Capitan in the small line, bit of a tough spot. He does elect to call.
Well, it was the limp from the button from Nicholas that's allowed Capitan to come along.
Is
Maybe
this our first multi-way pot since we hit the bubble.
100%. It is, and I think the reason for it is going to be we want to allow Martinez to see a flop and potentially get himself in trouble.
And this is a place for him to get himself in trouble. You just have a flush draw. It's not a very strong one. And when the board is paired, it's easy to just level yourself.
Nicholas still in front with his 2 jacks. Capitan looking down at his 6s, gets rid of it. And Martinez, no choice but to let it go.
Martinez still bleeding out. He's not giving it away any time yet. So many chips on this table. I like it. It does carry prestige with it.
For sure, for sure.
We are still at 300, 600 in terms of big blinds. 5 million leaves Martinez on just 9 bigs. See a flop hit and get it in is going to be his mantra. And for the rest of them, it's going to be wait for Martinez to bust and lock in that 3K pay jump. Queen Jack 7 for Martinez, this time in a small blind. Pots it to...
Well, bumps it up at least.
Yeah, well, no, he's pumped it up to 1.8.
1.8 million.
Call snap almost from Benkovic. Looking to take his interesting holdings to the flop. Benkovic is making the quickest decisions at this table.
So far he is. Maybe that's a trend for the Slovakians. They don't like to mess around.
We saw Rajkovic in the 5-5 stream. I've seen a couple in my exploits in the cash game scene this week.
100%.
They're quick.
They don't mess around. They know what they're doing.
And they're not bad either.
They're not bad.
Ace gives Benkovic top pair.
He has turned the best of it.
Anything that Martinez wanted to go for in terms of value, now a lot less likely to occur.
Just the gut shot for Martinez. He is going to decide to represent a strong hand. Ace being very good for his
It would make
range.
sense. He did pop pre-flop. He's going to have a lot of these aces and kings. Neither player really supposed to have 3 that often. Benkovic just making the call. It was a very small bet.
Very small bet. A bit of a block bet.
Yeah, indicative of lining up this jam on the river.
Martinez improves to queens and 3s, but it's still not better than Benkovic's ace.
Martinez firing a jam here.
He's lined it up.
Turning his jacks into the bluff. He is set up. He's only half pot.
He is blocking the straight.
Here we go.
There's the all in.
Going all in. Benkovic with a decision to make with the best hand. Kicker not
Asking for
very
the count.
good.
He flicked the call in earlier with a hand very similar to this.
He's playing aces and 3s with a 9. Losing to ace 10, ace jack, ace king, ace queen.
But he's thinking, is Martinez turning those hands into a bluff?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure what Benkovic is thinking. This could go either way. He's touching his cards a lot. Now he's
touching his
reaching for
chips.
his chips.
He's got that one.
That is the one chip call coming.
That's the one chip that you flick in when you want to pay the man his money.
Another thing to think of is if Benkovic makes his call and he is correct, he's made $3,000.
Oh, almost chucked it in there.
Almost chucked it in. Very tough. That's the second
That's
time
the
he's
second
leaned in.
time, but maybe a little bit of
Maybe a little bit questionable.
perhaps in the etiquette of poker, that's a little bit trying to gauge a reaction from Martinez there.
The gameplay is different.
There it
He
is.
does place
There's
it down.
the call. He'll be shown the bad news.
And Benkovic has guaranteed everybody a €3,000 pay jump. Martinez fought a good fight.
It was a good bluff on the river. Unfortunately, the ace-9 of Benkovic is good, and Martinez has been shown the bad news of being knocked out. 3-handed now.
Heads up's going to be very fun.
I cannot wait to commentate on this heads-up action.
Well, we got 56 million chips left. Benkovic now has 25 of them. Nicolas looking like the shortest stack from what we can see on the table, but I don't have the exact figures until we begin a hand.
And still very playable. These players, obviously, when you knock people out, you start becoming deeper. The average starts to go up.
The levels
in terms
are
of big
very
blinds.
slow.
And the levels, yeah, they are not playing a turbo.
$8,755. Not going anywhere.
But to the muck.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say, yeah. Ace Queen 6-2. We have limp opportunity. We have raise opportunity.
Worth noting that under the gun is obviously the big blind.
Sorry,
The
button now,
the
yes.
button, I believe. I meant to say.
We are very short-handed. Here comes the limp and check. Both players with the ace 2. Not very dynamic for either of them. It's the wrong board, really.
Queen 2 is 2 pair for Benkovic. Nicholas with bottom pair, no draws. Probably going to let this one go.
With just a 2, I can't imagine too much continuation.
Lets it go.
They're pretty equally spaced on this table. This is a lot better than if they were kind of all on one corner. If they were seat 1, 2, and 3, or seats 6, 7, 8.
Well, the best thing about this is that each player gets their own camera. No players are sharing a camera now. They get their own dedicated camera. It's worked out very well.
Smart boys, you are on TV.
Exactly, worked very well for everyone.
Begovic in the button. His cards are Queen 9, 4, 2, double suited.
Double suited cards from the button.
I like, but not these ones when there's no straight potential.
Exactly, not those ones. Nicholas limping along.
We're going to see a lot more of limping at the minute, given that we're quite deep.
A lot more of the players trying to realise their post-flop edge.
Let's not inflate the pot before we know what's going on the flop.
So the open-ender for Nicholas now. Just the pair of ducks for Capitan.
Gut shot for Capitan as well. But not many of these straight outs are clean. There is a flush draw on the board. Only one club in Nicolas's holdings. Capitan has nothing and gets rid of it.
I just want to confirm this with you. Benkovic has no watches. Nicholas is wearing 1 watch. And Capitan is wearing 2 watches.
So on average, everyone's wearing a watch.
So on average, there is 1 watch per person.
There is something on Begovic's right wrist, though.
I believe it's a bracelet. I don't believe it's a...
Lucky charm. Omaha lucky charm.
An Omaha lucky charm for the Omaha Crusher. Nicholas, weighing up his options on the button, lets it go.
Jack 10, 9, 3. We do like.
Are we going to see the limp or are we going to see the raise?
We're going to see the raise. No, just the limp.
Just the limp. And a
Now we're going to see the
monster.
raise. That is a snap pot.
No messing around. And it'd be interesting if Capitan wants to peel this off with his 3-card hand. He does not.
Not with the 3. I think with the 8 for the rundown, the 7 for the 1-gapper, definitely.
Get shown the premium.
But with the 3, you've got a whole card that just lacks any playability with the rest of them.
Exactly.
We're not in the business of flopping 2 pair here.
Not really. Not with a 3 on the board that can get counterfeit so easily.
And not facing a 3-bet.
And yeah, just out of... Well, it's an open raise, but it's... Well, not an open raise, rather. So it's a raise, but you're going out of position, aren't you? When you don't need to. Better times, better spots.
King, Queen, 10, 6. Looks pretty.
But it's, again, one of those 3-card hands.
Yep.
But position is king.
Position is everything in the game of Polymer Omaha. I really like Capitan's jumper. I was in Sport Shop today, and I saw a hoodie that is the exact same colour. I've only bought it. I might actually go back and buy it tomorrow. It's just such a gorgeous yellow.
It's very nice.
It's that time of the day.
That time of the day.
Here we go. We have the defend from Nicolas with King 10, 9, 8. 3-card run and the king and the double suitedness. Basically flipping here.
And it's a flip, yes.
2 pair for Nicolas.
And a flush draw. Can't ask for a better flop, really.
He's trappy, is Nicolas.
Capitan with the top pair 2 overcards.
Convinced himself that Capitan is overdoing it a little bit in some spots.
And all of a sudden, Capitan has picked up
The open-ender.
the open-ender and a pair from the flop still. Nicholas still with 2 pair. Checks again. Keeping the pot small. Capitan wants to realise his equity.
He's getting the opportunity. Not the card for it, though.
Not the card. 10-8, 2 pair. Will Nicholas check and let Capitan fire a bluff out? Which he definitely has the ability to do. He checks. Checks Capitan.
Value.
Takes his showdown value with his pair of 10s. He's going to be shown the bad news.
2 pair
2 pair.
indeed.
He'll double check to see if he's got some kind of 2 pair. He knows he doesn't. Lets it go.
Benkovic just stretching his legs.
Turning his jumper into a scarf there, look.
Maybe he has a pulse tail that he needs to hide.
What do you think about wearing scarves at the poker table?
I think you wear whatever you want. Whatever you want, as long as A, it's not offensive. B, it's not just kind of getting in the way of the game or causing too much distraction. I don't mind the scarves. Obviously, it's one of the less egregious ways of hiding tails. We see people wearing full hoodies, sunglasses, masks now. If anyone in the audience is familiar with Christoph Vogelsang, anytime he plays a 10K or bigger, you can barely see any of his skin. He just seems to cover himself, and I think that's too far. But in terms of putting a scarf on, maybe he's just cold. Maybe he puts a woolly hat on next,
Perhaps.
and orders a warm mug of latte or something.
It's getting to that time of year. Mulled wine.
That is very true. I don't know what the Christmas traditions are over here. It would be fun to see.
Well, I'd love to come back here over the Christmas period.
I have a feeling we'll be coming back here sooner than that.
We might stop off in Prague for the EPT.
That would be very nice.
Have a little play, but
Jack 10, 9, 3. We've seen this one already.
we're going to sweat with Capitan from the looks of things as Nicholas having difficulties putting his cards on the reader.
Well, I think some of them are just a little bit fuzzy.
Potentially.
He's doing better than Benkovic, however, who didn't even put them in the box.
This is correct. Capitan defends. Sweat with Capitan in position from the big blind. These two have been going on it. And Nicholas
King 10, 8, hello.
puts them in, and it's not good news
It's
for Capitan.
top set.
Versus a bit of a wrap.
We've got a lot of outs here. 9, good. Ace, good. And Jack, good.
10.
8.
A lot of outs for Capitan.
And there's no flush draw. Capitan going nowhere when this bet comes in.
Definitely not. A big bet from Nicholas with top set.
This is one of those kind of hands where maybe there's a small frequency of bluff raising from Capitan as well.
Possibly Capitan can have things
He
like
could get it in.
King, Queen. He can have things like 7s.
He can get it in.
Something like a full wrap.
Looks down at his second watch. The time is indeed 11:04. That's the call.
The call is in his hand.
Not really sure what he's doing with it, but okay. He's thinking about putting some more in.
Just taking his time, weighing up all his options.
He does select the call. To be fair, given how shallow these players are, there's no need to fire a raise. You can realise some equity
Keep the variance low.
and still get it in because we're just over a pot effective. If it goes check, Capitan just wants to go 3-3. There is
The straight.
one of our straights.
Not the nut straight. It's not a comfortable...
Interestingly now, Nicholas also has his own form of open-ender.
He does. But it's not a comfortable straight for Capitan. It's not the nuts.
If the ace were to peel, they would be chopping.
They certainly would. Nicholas checking. Capitan's
obviously going to make the bet here.
I think so.
He could bet easily 2.7, 3 million, and do a jam on the river. That gets in pretty efficiently.
It's not a terrible way of doing it.
Betting small also allows a lot of continuation from Nicholas with hands that are not straights. You're not very vulnerable with the 9-10 here.
Not super vulnerable. He's going to double check his hand. He wants to see possibly if he's got any spades. That'll influence his decision.
We're blocking ace 10 technically as well. Just
We
for
are.
ownership of our own 10.
I agree.
When there's 4 cards, doesn't mean as much, but
Not as significant as Hold'em, but still significant nonetheless.
I think he fires 3 mil here.
That's 2 mil in front of him there.
That's 4 mil. This is a very committing size if he's about to put that in.
Sorry, yeah, 4 mil. That's 5 million he's counted out.
He's made his own little chipstone henge. Nicholas giving nothing away. Here comes 5.3 million. Leaving nothing to chance, Capitan. Nicholas, now in such a grim spot. Still has outs. Can very much have the best hand. Has any...
I don't think if you're Nicholas you can fold here, purely because you have your own straight draw.
Yeah. You've got your own straight draw. You've got boat outs. Any queen, any 7, any jack, any ace.
Any 9
Any 9.
for the chop.
It's such a weird sizing. This 5.1 million. I don't really... I can't really make sense of it. It's almost like inviting the jam. Inviting Nicholas to just say, we're going to have 4 mil into 20 mil
Yeah.
once this river goes.
Yeah, exactly. So do I want to get it in now? Hope that you just have some kind of 2 pair plus flush draw?
Well, this is the thing. There's so many bluffs he can have as well. And this is such a polarized sizing.
Very polarized. But this... With when you're leaving yourself with such little behind, it's very polarizing.
Almost for Nicholas here. Damn it if
He
you do, damn
lets
if you
it
don't.
go.
What incredible fold, by the way.
Absolutely top draw plays, top class player. Knows he's behind, knows he's not getting the right price.
Do we think Capitan picked the wrong sizing?
Well, it's an interesting question. I think you've got to remember he just wants to win the pot. You know,
True.
You just need sometimes because equities run close in Omaha.
Let's just get them to fold.
He,
and we'll
he
end
had
the day.
the effective nut straight because Capitan couldn't make a bigger straight and still only had 60% equity. 70% equity. So
The weird world of Omaha.
exactly. So just by denying all of that equity and picking up an absolutely massive pot, which has actually put him not quite level with Benkovic. Is it Benkovic?
Benkovic. Cheeky little one gapper for Nicholas. Going nowhere with the Jack 10 9-7.
From the button, still plenty of chips. 20 big blinds going to go ahead and
These are my favourite hands, by the way.
And play.
These Jack high, straighty hands.
double suited. Pretty looking hand for Capitan from the small blind. Interesting to see what this very capable player chooses to do here.
A flat would invite more squeezing from Benkovic, a player who has definitely shown the capability to do so. Pot, here we go. Off to the races.
He likes these ace small.
I like his selection. We
Hand
saw him do it with
combinations.
ace 8-4-2. We saw him do it with when he had the flush draws. He's done it now with ace 7-5-4.
Double suited. Nicholas in a really awkward situation, even in position.
He could be up against...
He can just be dominated
He
so
could be up
often.
against... Well, Capitan could be up against bigger hands as well. This is why this bluff makes a lot of sense. You've got the ace blocker. You've got incredible amounts of equity with these straight and flush cards.
Exactly. You can see he's actually a slight favourite.
Not that he knows it.
Not that he knows it.
He's bluffing with the best hand.
And it just really puts Nicholas in a horrible spot. What if your opponent has something like Queen, Jack, Jack 10? And all of a sudden, you have to hit.
Yeah.
You've got fewer straight outs and you have to hit the 9-7. Lets it go. And it's a really smart play from Capitan.
I have no issue with that. Capitan now on the button. 9973. We saw Benkovic muck pretty much the same hand. And Capitan's going to do the same. Benkovic opting for the limp. We're sweating with Nicholas. 7-5-4-4. Standard check.
So the flush draw for Nicholas.
Nicholas doesn't have a card that is not under the board.
Which is just uncomfortable.
Yeah, crippling.
Crippling, yes.
Crippling, one might say. 10 is just going to make it a little bit more painful. Nicholas now an overwhelming short stack at this table. Only 16 bigs.
Knows that Benkovic's not the type of player to let it go, to fold hands too often, I think is a fair description. He made the hero call that knocked Martinez out. He made another call earlier on, which not 100% sure if it knocked another player out, but it was certainly a little bit on the looser side, I would say. Potentially correct or incorrect. It's escaping my mind for now.
Did we see what Benkovic had?
We did not.
Here's a chip count. We are now at 800,000 chip blinds. Nicholas actually on 12 bigs with 10 million. Benkovic and Capitan pretty close. If Capitan were to stack Nicholas in the next hand, they're basically even for what's going to be a very tight heads-up battle.
A very fun heads-up battle indeed.
This is hand number 50 of the final table. It feels like we've had more.
It feels like because there's so much going on in Omaha, it feels definitely that we've played and seen a lot more going on.
I like this. I like this. We have 10-10-6-6 with one suit for Capitan.
Possibly just wants to see a flop.
Definitely. Let's realise some equity.
Try and flop a set. Always nice. Hard blocking a lot of Nicholas's straight outs as well.
Exactly. One set would be lovely, please.
There's
it is.
one of them, and it's a monster wrap for Nicholas.
This is incredible. Capitan has the best hand, but Omaha moment, he's dog.
He is behind.
Nicholas just happens to have one of those few very specific hands where he's just ahead here.
All of his cards slip into the board. Obviously, he has the pair of sevens.
Not that it means much.
Not that it means much. An 8 would have obviously been
Even juicier.
the perfect wrap for
That would have been the juiciest card. Maybe 8 coming.
He also blocks his own straight flush outs. Only the ace of clubs for the royal.
Look at those gorgeous high roller chips, by the way.
They are delicious. A 900k bet, which we've been seeing a lot of. We've been seeing a lot of when you've got these wraps and big draws, you're just trying to lead out, get your opponent to fold hands that
Here comes
have
the
more showdown.
pot. 6.9 million, I believe. And it's gone. Here we go.
Going in. It's a pot jam reshove. Nicholas, a favourite with
Capitan
his full
jumping
wrap.
out of his chair to see what he's got, by the way. How is he behind? Nicholas standing up for the extra 2%. Not that he needs it. He's already ahead. We're going to go to a turn. So many cards. Clubs.
This
Eights,
is
nines,
definitely
jacks, queens.
the biggest hand of the night so far. 5.
That is somehow not an interesting card. The 5 of diamonds. So we're now literally flipping.
It's a coin toss on the last card.
This is what we're here for. Here comes the river. It is another red 5.
That
Somehow
is
Capitan has held.
A boat for Capitan. Nicholas.
I think I have you covered, he says. 2-1.
2-1. Nicholas eliminated, and we have a very juicy heads-up match now.
This is literally what I just said was going to happen.
The commentator's curse reversed.
Yeah,
We get what we
indeed.
ask for.
I literally just said that hand. Capitan will stack Nicholas, and then we have an incredible heads up. Benkovic is going for another. They're both going for another big title.
Exactly. Another
1.5k
high roller.
small fry for Bogdan Capitan. There's not an amount that he won't play. Dealer, disgusting, by the way. 2 red 5s when anything black would have done for Nicholas.
Anything black would have been pretty good.
We're just going to put up these chip stacks. I don't believe we're seeing a race. Look how neatly Capitan puts those.
I'd love to see a nice tower, but, you know,
Harder to see. Look at that sea of chips.
it is an ocean.
Mate, Jamie Gold. Gold is in the colour of his sweater. That's the classic sea of chips.
A sea of chips. So, in third place, Nicholas was eliminated. 11.3 thousand euros. Not a small amount by
Not a
any
small
means.
amount of money at all.
Second place will pay 16.4 thousand euros.
That's a lot of money. I'm not sure why we're getting a floor call. They might be electing to go for another break.
A little break heads up, recounting of the chips possibly, get some bigger chips in play if they have any.
No, we're going straight in.
Just jumping in.
I know he says, let's go.
First place payout, €26,000.
Something this 10k heads up.
This makes it almost exactly a 10k heads up, €9,995.
They couldn't have just chucked another fiver in the pool, could they? Surely.
Yeah, why not? Already an interesting situation. Capitan with his combinations he likes to sometimes bluff with. Benkovic with a very decent holding heads up decides to go ahead and raise from the big blind.
I think this could be where Benkovic starts getting really active. He's been under the radar pre-flop all day.
He likes to see the flops.
As does Capitan. Ace-7, 2-2, 7 high flush draw.
Electing to call.
Can still have the best of it.
To the flop we go.
Flush draw, gut shot.
A monster for Benkovic. But the ace of clubs, a significant part of Capitan's hand.
That's going to allow him to potentially fire some bluffs later. The thing is, are we too shallow to be flicking these nut flush blocker draws in?
Blinds are 800,000, 400,000, 800,000.
So we're about 30 big blinds, 35 big blinds effective currently.
I look forward to seeing it.
I do look forward to seeing it.
I'd love to be inside Capitan's head and just watch his thought process. About
I'd love
the
it to come
situation.
4 low clubs and Capitan just...
That's about 2 million. 2 million chips.
Capitan's quite capped here as well. He has just called this 3-bet.
But then again,
Not I can visualize capped in the Omaha sense. I think it's a lot more nuanced than that.
I would say it is, because Capitan definitely has things like King Jack. So he may be capped at having things like aces. He may be capped at having things like possibly pocket queens. And that's going to seal the fate
That is
for
the
Capitan.
check mark.
However,
We do still have that nut flush blocker.
nut flush blocker, he bet the flop. The flush draws come in on the turn. You've got the unblockers in your hand. The deuces, no good. The 7, no good.
The king of clubs is actually one of the worst clubs to peel because it's one of the overcards to Benkovic's flush.
It does make
Ideally-
it harder.
Ideally, you'd like to have the king and the queen of clubs still missing in a way, so there's more things that Benkovic can think he's behind against. Capitan keeping the pot small. He's not looking to go to the jam here.
Well, when Benkovic calls, this leaves him with a pot-sized bet behind.
I think we see it. Oh, yeah, it does. Oh, my God. I think we see a check, though.
I wouldn't be surprised to see Capitan use that nut flush blocker, use the fact that the board's so scary to get Benkovic. What's he trying to get to fold? 2 pairs?
Definitely, yeah.
Sets?
We're not trying to fold out this jack. This could be a good card to start.
I don't know. I think maybe it's going to cause a slowdown. If you're trying to get 2 pairs and sets to fold,
Oh, it's tough now, yeah. But
now
many
they've
boats.
many boats.
It looks like a check back.
He's going to think about it. He's going to take his time. You don't win an EPT PLO event by snapping into decisions.
I don't know. Rakovic from the other day and Benkovic from today.
It goes check.
Looking into it.
Goes check.
Unfortunate card, but he's actually saved himself a lot of chips.
Saves himself a lot of chips.
So Capitan now down to 30 big blinds.
3-2.
Looks almost confused there.
Yeah, so what do you have? A straight? 2 pair? A flush? Oh, a flush.
Yeah, exactly.
And with these small 25k chips are still in play, so with these small denominations, it might take a while for Benkovic to stack all these mountains up, these absolute piles.
I want to see some great pyramids going on.
I would love to see the pyramids that we've got.
Moves his chips out of the way. By the way.
We've got the square, the very neat and organised square styling of Capitan, and we've got disorder, entropy,
chaos on the Benkovic side.
From Benkovic. A very nice holding. And another very nice holding. Looking down at that heads up, you've got your suited ace, your king, and your queen. A limp from Benkovic. A raise from Capitan. 2.4 million is the new price. I don't imagine Benkovic to go anywhere heads up with his second nut flush draw combinations of straights possible.
He's just kind of pushing chips towards the dealer.
Just saying, here, dealer, here's a pile. Take what you need. I call.
Do you know what? I think Capitan is probably the better PLO player here. But I think Benkovic, not to be sniffed at.
Definitely not an easy opponent by any means. Made some of what I would say are questionable calls, but then I'm not playing in a 1.5k PLO event.
That is very true.
I don't have any
Capitan.
I don't have any PLO tartars to my belt, so I can't comment.
Maybe it's time to start grinding them out.
Maybe it is.
I'll see you at the World Series.
I will do. So we have top pair, as you mentioned, for Capitan.
He will continue 3.2, 2/3.
And it's a really uncomfortable situation for Benkovic. He just has a gut shot and a bottom pair.
It's uncomfortable for Benkovic in the sense that he would have to make the 3.2 million stack before he could call the bet. Half of his stack is just kind of by the wayside currently.
Still stacking. We'll get 3 hands in before he's able to do so.
If Capitan doubles up, they're going to have to take like a 10-minute break just so he can put his chips back up. Floor pro sim called. That is that's floor man, please.
That is 4 and please. I imagine it's going to be something to do with the...
Please, can we chip up? These are the social medias, by the way, for the Card Casino Bratislava. You can follow us on Facebook at Card Casino, Instagram at Card Casino Bratislava, and Jacob with the website
cardcasino.sk.
.sk.
Thank you, Ethan.
Oh, I believe they are going for a chip race.
Or maybe they're not.
Oh, no. I heard the word chip race, but I'm not entirely sure what's going on.
What they may do, and what sometimes they do in tournaments, is they'll just bring out 10 million's worth of chips for each player.
Let's do it. We'll do it live.
And just come and say, okay, well, this is 2, this is 4, this is 6, this is 8, this is 10. Put them all into 2 racks and give a stack of million euro chips.
I think I did hear a rack in the background, so maybe we do see it.
Or 500,000 chips would make some kind of sense here as well.
It's gone limp check.
Limp check, we're going to go to a flop.
To a flop. Bottom pair.
Gut shot. Interesting.
It's like we're playing articulate. Flop comes and we're just shouting out the things that have appeared.
Well, both players have a gut shot. Capitan's still ahead with his jacks. A 9 would spell trouble for Benkovic, who folds anyway, and a queen obviously spelling trouble for Capitan. So, Ethan, have you had fun commentating this stream so far?
I've definitely had fun commentating Omaha. It's been obviously I'm quite tired. It's getting late into the day. Oh, that's a turnover card. No problem. The dealer says I'll just give you a new one. I've had a lot of fun commentating and watching Omaha, especially at such a high level. I don't think you often get the opportunity to do this.
You certainly don't. It's been a mental workout for me.
It has been a mental workout. Just calculating the size of the pot has proved taxing today.
100%. Dealers are, for PLO, very skilled
Very, very
at what
skilled.
they do.
So 7-5-4-3. The one gapper for Benkovic. One of his 6s is dead.
The rainbow flop as well.
Two
Sorry, the
perfect captain.
rainbow hand, the rainbow flop.
Rainbow everything, yeah. Here comes the 7. It's now 2 pair over 2 pair. Not that either of them are very strong. Top and bottom and bottom 2. Benkovic with position, though, is going to have more leniency to bet this specific hand.
And that 6 is dead, don't forget. So even though Benkovic picks up a gutter, it's not actually very strong.
No, it's not very strong. The equity displayed on your screen won't be taking into account that dead 6 of diamonds. So Benkovic is actually a little bit worse than he offers.
Needs to hit a 7. Or a 6. 3 6s left. 2 7s left. 5.
It spells trouble.
outs, spells trouble, 100%. And
The 8, unfortunately, does not. Jack 5 is going to be the best hand.
not
I smell a check, check.
well, might Benkovic decide to go ahead and bluff? He does not. He says, I've got 2 pair. It's not a very good 2 pair.
It's 2 pair nonetheless. Unfortunately, it's not good here. We are literally even stacks.
Back to evens.
Something I've not done in a very long time.
What's that?
Gone back to evens.
Gone back to evens, oh dear.
So, more chips to be stacked. Dealer will wash the deck and put it back in the machine. In the Shuffle King. That's what it's called, the
Here we
Shuffle
are,
King
Shuffle
2.
Kings. These are not deck mates.
No, or Shuffle Masters.
Maybe the player's discussing some break. Do you want to just carry on playing? Oh, they will, maybe a deal.
They're making a deal, are they?
No. But I believe Capitan said, let's just play for it all.
That speaks true to what Capitan believes, though, in that he does have the edge here. And I'd have to agree with him. There's no point in Capitan surrendering equity when this isn't the biggest of tournaments he's played.
And also the players are relatively deep.
Yeah, there's so much room to work with.
What is it, 35 big blinds apiece?
Yeah, more or less. 2.2 call. Neither player getting out of line here at all. 2 very nice hands.
2 very pretty hands, especially when you're heads up. Capitan, double suited ace-king. Benkovic with the single suit. So, diamond flop, neither player has the flush draw. However, Benkovic picks up a pair alongside a gut shot.
Here comes the 6. We have a few more outs.
The open ender now for Benkovic, and the pair of 7s does put him as a favourite.
Capitan really in need of help here. He does have 1 pair, so there's a lot of 2 pair outs.
But a huge bet for Benkovic is just going to let him take it down.
4 million was ginormous. 4 into 5, that's a very, very large bet. Polarizing himself incredibly.
100%. And it looks like the floorman's here to take some chips away.
Floor men even.
Floormen. And did I make a perfect prediction about some 500k chips?
I think they might be coming in.
And so many million coming to the table.
They do look quite nice. They're silver.
Did I say the floorman would bring 10 million over? If they're 500,000s, that would be 10 million.
Very true. We have a dealer change. Apt time to do it.
And a chip change.
We're in the middle of something else.
Are they going to race the 250Ks?
The 25Ks. They're 25 and 100s, I believe.
We'll find. They are 25Ks and 100,000 value chips.
God, the chips are actually so nice.
They are really good looking. I like the barcode design on the
I
side.
like that they say high roller on them for a high roller event. That is thought. That's a lot of chips going away.
So they're not taking away all of the 25Ks.
Just in case you wanted to 25k to your bet.
I think it's more for the stream. It's more if we actually do a proper race and have a player, try and buy the chips or move them around, and it just becomes a bit awkward. Whereas, just take a few off, give out, exactly 10 million.
I'd like to see these
To
500k
each
in
player.
play immediately.
And
I want to see.
they will be.
I want to see some chips going in and some action flying.
The blinds are nearly at 500,000, 1 million. I believe we're at 4 and 8 at the minute.
Yep. And there it is, the 500,000. That is a big old chip.
A beautiful.
Looks bigger than the 100Ks as well.
Well, that could be possible. Beautiful hand there for Benkovic, double suited ace queen with an 8 and a 4.
Here comes the raise. Just the limp.
The limp from Benkovic. I think they are just adopting the limping strategy. If the big blind wants to raise, they can. It lets them come ahead and 3-bet with their really premium holdings as well.
Very true.
And then get to play a pot in position as 3-better.
There we go, top and bottom for Capitan.
And the nut flush draw for Benkovic. This could get interesting.
Neither player going anywhere just yet.
Absolutely not.
Capitan opting for the lead. Obviously, it's a limp pot. Neither player has the aggression behind them.
Yeah, no flow to think about here. Just I've got top and bottom. I'm going to bet. Benkovic has a couple of options. He could raise, he could flat call. He's got the nut flush draw.
Sounds like he's flicked the call in, and he has
Flicks the call. We're going to see a turn.
the 8 of diamonds.
So Benkovic picking up a few more outs with just by pairing his 8 along with his flush draw.
Here come the 2 pair draws. The better 2 pair draws.
The better 2 pair draws, and Capitan doesn't look like he's going to slow down. He's reaching for chips.
He should continue to go for it.
I think when 3.1 million, I think when Benkovic picks up an 8 as well, he doesn't want to let it go. There it is, 3.1. Just like us, he hasn't quite got used to those chip denominations yet.
They're so unique.
I think they are slightly bigger. I think you're right. Well, hopefully when we get a heads-up shot, they are the same size.
In
4
comes
on the
8,
river.
4. So 2 pair versus 2 pair.
8's up, 10's up, 10's up ahead.
That is very true. Capitan picking his brains for if he wants to find a 3rd street.
He has got top pair up, but he goes for the check.
It's going to go check here, I imagine. I don't see Benkovic turning this 8-4 into a bluff. Sees the bad news, and Capitan takes the chip lead for the first time in this heads-up battle.
A really quite sizable pot there. We're back in the action as Benkovic has elected to flat his button with...
Oh, no.
Oh, no, sorry.
They're the 500s.
Raised
We're getting
into
these as well.
aces.
Hello, aces, with a suited combo. Here comes the re-raise. What's he making it? He's splashing chips everywhere. 6.6 million. Benkovic, hard push to find a 4-bet, but he does find the snap call.
In position, just wants to run it.
Let's just find the hearts.
Hearts would be juicy. There's 1, there's 2, there's 3. They're both flopped to flush.
Oh my god.
Benkovic has the open-ended straight flush draw. He's not completely dead, but it's the nut flush for Capitan.
There's no way.
Neither player has a pair.
There's pot behind. There's just over pot behind.
A small down bet looks like a quarter pot to me.
That's a perfect size. Does Benkovic just run it? He chooses to run it, and obviously Capitan never folding with a nut flush.
In nut flush call.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are off with the open-ended straight flush draw. This could be it, Capitan. Bogdan Capitan might win.
Is blocking that straight flush... sorry, he's not blocking the straight flush out. 8 of hearts or a king of hearts are the only 2 cards left in the deck that are going to save Benkovic.
What an incredible
Actual
flop.
flop. 10, no good to either player. Actually, doesn't help anyone.
2 cards, King of Hearts or the 8 of Hearts. Which one comes? It's the King of Spades.
It is no good.
Bogdan Kapitan takes the Vamos Poker Tour 1.5k PLO High Roller title. All the prestige that goes with it.
Absolutely unbelievable flop.
What a flop.
A 3-bet pot, both players flopping.
The absolute juice.
Absolutely. Nuts versus second nuts.
How's he done that?
Still a sweat.
You couldn't write it. This is the great game of PLO that we play, ladies and gentlemen.
And there's a wonderful handshake between the two players. And what have we been saying all day? Aces, but it's not the aces that wins you the pot.
No, it's never the aces that win you the pot. I'm going to go straight to the Omaha table with that in mind.
This has been absolutely amazing.
I've had a lot of fun commentating this Omaha.
As have I. I had a really, really good time.
I think it's shaking it up.
It's nice to commentate on a game you're not 100% familiar with.
Do you know what I hope we get to commentate?
Go on then, Ethan.
Tomorrow on Saturday, the €100 open-faced progressive Chinese pineapple.
Open-faced progressive Chinese pineapple.
I have a feeling they won't stream it, but what an incredible tournament that's going to be.
Now, it would be something I have absolutely no idea about.
Well, nothing different then. There's plenty more action coming from the Vamos Poker Tour right through until Monday. We have the main event, Day 2, coming up on Sunday. That's from 4 p.m. UTC +1 and 3 p.m. British Standard. And what else we got coming? There might be a stream tomorrow. There's rumours. We're trying to get you a very juicy cash game going.
Some 5, 10, 20 action.
I could think of nothing I'd want more.
That would be both of our wheelhouse as cash game players.
We love a good cash game. I think it's going to be a very good weekend. Lots of action coming. Lots of cards up coverage.
As the dealer sorts the chips out for the victor's photo and trophy shot that will be available on Card Casino Bratislava's Facebook and
Instagram and website.
Yeah, all of the.
I don't think Capitan cares about the money. I think it's this photo that he's most interested in.
Well, I've always thought that, as someone that's never won a trophy playing poker,
exactly.
I'm hunting for events where I can win one.
I can't prove to anyone on my Facebook profile that I'm good at cards until I have one of these. And it looks even more prestigious when there's 4 cards and not 2. Look, ace, 4, 10, 6, the winning hand.
Expertly put down there. I really like it.
I have a feeling there's supposed to be an ace in there.
Oh.
I think we're missing an ace.
We definitely are. Ace 10, 4, 6 is not the hand that won. Ace 4, 6, I believe.
Yeah, I'm sure Bogdan's Capitan is not going to mind.
Not really. Ace 4 was the hand that made the flush. And the floorman's come over and gone, hang on.
What's going on here?
What have you done?
Who's done this?
Absolutely perfect. All right, well.
That was Omaha.
That was Omaha. We've been commentating. How long's this stream been?
Oh, only 2.5 hours, I believe.
I
have no idea when this began. But yeah, there you go. That is all the action concluded of our Cards Up coverage. We will be back either tomorrow evening for a rather large hold'em cash game, or we will be back on Sunday. We're definitely back on Sunday.
Hopefully we're back on Sunday. I think we have a few things to confirm, but...
We should be, and that will be for the Day 2 of the Vamos Poker Tour main event. That will be very, very fun indeed. My name has been Ethan Foreman.
I'm Jacob Topley.
And it's been an absolute pleasure to join with you for some good 4-card action. I wish you all a very good evening. Thank you, and good night.
Good night, everyone.